How'd pickleball go, Karina?
Oh yeah.
Not great.
Were you playing with Bradley?
We Yeah, we played mixed doubles, but yeah, so originally I thought that this tournament was going to be like you would play against people that were your own level, and it was it was not. So like I think we were the only team there that averaged below like a 4.5 or a 5 like team rating, like as
What's
a
the
level.
scale? 10?
No, 5. 5 is like the top. 5, you can be a 5 plus, I guess, but you
Oh, I
like
understand.
5 is the
Okay. Okay.
top. So I'm like a 3.5. Bradley's like a 4, maybe a 4.5 when we've been playing like a
How do you
lot.
quantify this?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too.
I don't know how it's officially done. I don't know if it's like maybe to get like an official rating, you have to play in a bunch of tournaments where you play against other people and they rank it. There are some things you can look up that'll tell you like, okay, if this is what your average like game looks like, this is probably about where you are as far as like the types of shots you're doing, what kind of stuff you can do with the ball, like how frequent, like what your volleys look like, all of that. So like you can kind of get a gauge for where you're at. Um, but yeah, so like everyone we played against was like a 5 point, and we have not been playing consistently. So it was a learning experience, like
Those are the worst when you just walk in and get schooled by people, especially if you don't know that it's going to happen. If you walk in thinking you're going to be competitive and then you
You
find
just get
out very
humbled.
quickly you're not going to be.
well, and so I think what it is, I think this tournament was like an all weekend thing. So Bradley played in like the men's singles on Friday, and he did he did well in that. He won a decent number of games, and like the games that he didn't win, he still like was competitive in. Um, and then I think yesterday they had other doubles that were probably the ones that I thought that this was going to be, where like you would play against your level. But the one that he entered us in was one that was for like a cash prize. So I'm like, I'm not surprised that everyone who was there was really good. Thankfully they were all really nice, at least. Like they weren't assholes about it.
Of course
and
they
being
were.
like,
You made it
"Oh."
easier for them to get some money.
I don't know. I mean, the team that we played first didn't go to the championship. They ended up in the losers bracket as well. So like, but they still were like just so much better. Like, so it was interesting. We didn't play a ton. We guess we got our money's worth out of it in that after we were out, like we just played on an empty court for a while and worked on some stuff. I'm working on a new serve.
That's
But
funny.
yeah. So anyway, I told him, I was like, yeah, if we ever do this again, we need to make sure we're playing in one where we're just playing people our level. So yeah,
Why don't you make
Nice.
that your level?
being a
Oh,
5 point plus.
Yeah.
5 point plus. I
Yeah,
love that. They
okay.
can't just make the skill bigger. They just say plus.
Yeah.
You're gonna be driving Aaron crazy over here.
So yeah, that was my morning. I had to be there we got there at like 7:30. So it's a little
That's
bit
a
of
lot of pickleball.
yeah, but good exercise at least, if nothing else. We just need to play more consistently. The biggest issue is that like when we were living in Oregon, we had people we could go play with every week, and like they weren't insanely better to the point where it wasn't fun or you were just getting schooled every time, but also it was like still a challenge to play some
Well,
of
they were
those
like,
guys.
for all learning situations, they were like the perfect amount of better, right? Like, they they're not schooling you so that you can't do anything, but they're still definitively better that you have to try hard to keep up, right? Like apparently that's how like humans naturally do it with language. Like apparently when you're raising a kid, you always naturally speak a little bit outside of what they understand. Like you're always challenging them a little bit unintentionally, you know?
Yeah. Well, and with that group, like when we were playing consistently, we weren't always going to win, but like we could win our fair share of games, like if Bradley and I were a
hmm
team, or if we were mixing up and playing with other people as teammates, like we could win some. And so it was a good group of people to play with, but it was always a challenge. Like you never just were like, oh, this is going to be a breeze, like we're just going to play and it's going to be whatever. But here like none of our friends here play, and the ones we've tried to get to play, just the level of athleticism just isn't the same, and nor do they have the time to put into getting good enough where it would be like an actual. So, we're trying, but it's also like we got to find some other people to play with, because I think that's the biggest
Yeah.
thing, is that we haven't really had to play a high speed, like intense, truly competitive game in a while. And so we're just really out of practice too. So that did not help.
Hmm.
That's me with tennis right now. Uh, for like 2, 3 weeks, I was playing a lot of tennis, like 4 hours a 4 hours a day on the weekend, like consecutive days. But it would always be me and my cousin who was living here for like that's a couple weeks. And so him and I got really good. He just moved out, or I don't know what he's doing right now. And now I'm trying to get other people to play, and uh, now it's just a very different. I'm still very bad at it, but they are like completely
They don't
new.
know which end of the
It's
racket to hold, kind of. Yeah.
yeah, I can actually serve the ball, and yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
bit of a bummer. I need to find somebody else to play with.
Yeah.
I bet
And
you're
it's hard
like, I
because,
bet when you start playing again, you're crazy sore too. Because I know that's how it always was with pickleball with me. Like, if I didn't play for a few weeks and then I'd go play hard, like I go play for a couple hours competitively, I'd be so sore because you're just like using muscles you don't normally use and using them in a way you don't normally use them, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. For some reason, my forearm would
that
yeah
makes
get super
sense.
sore.
hmm
I don't know, I just didn't expect it. I was expecting like my
yeah.
shoulder or something, which yeah had a little bit. Shin splints from hell. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, because I don't know how to run or something, and I'm a big oaf. So when I am sprinting on hard, asphalt
Honestly,
for
I don't
several
think I've
hours,
ever had genuine shin splints. I don't think I've ever
Really.
had them. I don't
Even
think
in
so.
cross country?
Nope, never in cross country. If anything, it would have been during basketball. But I don't really remember that ever happening.
Well, I didn't usually get them during basketball because like the court has some built-in cushion to it, so it's not the same
Oh,
as running on like
you
asphalt.
didn't spend enough time in the blue gym, apparently.
That's true, I didn't. But
And I would also
I
play at the
because
church, which was just a slab of concrete with like quarter
oh
inch
yeah.
carpet on top.
Yeah, that's rough. Because I was gonna
Yeah.
say, like, for me, it was always track, or like not the running on the track, but like when they would send us out like on road runs where they'd be like, yeah, you're just gonna go run a few miles wherever, and then that would
Mhm.
give me shin splints from running on the sidewalk.
Have you seen like the videos of people that I guess it's probably MMA, but like people that like will train to harden their shins by like basically
yeah,
taking metal
this,
rods and like rubbing them down their shins,
yeah.
like cuz you basically just trying to kill the nerves, I think is what they're doing. Like just
Mm.
trying to like totally numb their
I don't know.
shins.
I don't know if that would help you with shin splints though, would it? Because isn't shin splints
No,
where
I'm
like the
I'm I'm just
muscle
talking
peels?
like
Oh,
no,
okay.
I'm just talking in general about like shin pain, and it just made me think of that. Because like I know that like when you get shin splints, you are like you do kind of like rub something over them, like some kind of roller or something. Isn't that common?
Yeah, you're supposed to kind of roll them out.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So it just
that
made
would
me
have been
think
nice
of
to know.
like. But if you watch videos of like these like very tough dudes, right? I mean, like they're in MMA and they're just like,
Writhing in pain because
I
it's.
know, you're
I
just
want someone to do it
rubbing
to
the
me.
bone. You do?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Aren't you curious?
No, no, I'm
What?
not
Not that
curious.
curious. You know what, Aaron? You can take one for the team, do some scientific work for us. Let us know how it goes.
I'll get
Would
some
you want to
video
get
or something.
Would you want to get bit by a bullet ant just because you're curious?
Yes.
He's like, let me Google that.
Well, no, I've seen videos. Coyote Peterson. I don't know if you guys have seen that guy.
No.
He was like slowly going up the insect like pain ladder index thing. So yeah, like the tarantula wasp and the bullet ant, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, really fun to watch. He's always super
Oof.
dramatic. He's like, "Oh, this is the worst I've ever felt." Like, yeah,
Well, I
But
mean,
there's
that kind of makes
tribes.
sense. If you're going up, like each time it would be the worst you've ever
Yeah,
felt,
yeah.
right?
You're like, yeah, I bet it is.
It'd be weird if it was like, actually, the one 4 times ago was worse.
There's got to be different types of pain, though, right? So, like, they're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
all,
Like,
like,
because burning,
comparable types of pain, yeah.
No, I know, I'm kidding.
I think burning pain is the worst. At least to me,
I
that
well,
I don't
I don't
like
know.
it.
It probably depends on where it is too, because like some parts of your body, it's
Oh,
easy
of
to
course.
ignore pain,
Of course.
and other places it's super hard. Like
Yeah.
you could be like, even if it's not that bad, you're just like, oh, this is terrible.
Like,
So-
armpit, ugh. You know? Like, imagine getting stung on, like, your forearm versus getting stung in your armpit. Like, one makes me physically cringe right now, and the other's like, I could probably take that right now. Like, I'll get stung on the forearm. I don't care. You know?
Yeah, I think that's why I'm so willing to have somebody do the shin thing to me, because I don't think that would like. I feel like it'd be a temporary pain.
Oof, but
Bro,
But-
when I was a kid, we would do like trampoline shin jousting.
I need an
you can't just say that like
We,
they're
like-
all proper nouns
yeah.
and I know what it is.
Trampoline. Yeah. You're jumping on a trampoline, and then you would like jump towards each other in the middle and like try to kick each other. And your shins would bam.
That's great.
Yeah, low income
we-
housing activity.
I had a
Oh,
friend. I
man.
went over to a friend's house once, and we wanted to do like sliding down the stairs on mattress kind of a thing, but his stairs were too narrow. They were like 2.5 feet. So we're like, we're not getting a mattress down that. It was like a narrow staircase. So we just did it in a sleeping bag. Not the same.
Yeah.
Not the same at all. Yeah, it was terrible.
My
Oh, that's
grandparents
an-
had a big wooden staircase, like same thing, really narrow
One of those old school,
staircase.
like Victorian
yeah,
ones.
Yeah, definitely not that. It was very, it was old school. It looked
Oh, like a farmhouse staircase.
cheap, I guess. Yeah, but very narrow hallway up to the top of their like attic room. And yeah, we would just grab like we did it with cardboard boxes, sleeping bags, blankets. Somebody
Yeah.
did skis. Yeah,
Somebody
Skis is
skis.
brave.
crazy. Yeah.
Because like in our house, we used to do it with a mattress, and it worked. But yeah, I can't imagine like if you're just gonna do a sleeping bag, you might as well just fall down the stairs. Like
But yeah,
That's-
no,
Yeah.
literally, that was It makes getting a rug burn slightly harder. Is basically what helps.
But at that point, you might as well just wear like thick sweatpants and a good sweatshirt. And just go down on your stomach.
But it's slick. Like it's a good material for getting down the
That's
stairs.
true.
It's just not comfortable. So
That's true. Were they carpeted stairs or were they like the wooden ones?
they were carpeted.
I assume
Yeah.
carpeted, yeah. That's like the only thing you can use then is a sleeping bag.
Well, did you already say welcome back to the Jake Gyllenhaal podcast?
I know,
Welcome
right?
back to the Jake Gyllenhaal podcast. Keeping it going.
I think-
this has got to be our
I
third
think
or
we
fourth.
discussed the fact that this was going to be a Jake Gyllenhaal movie, but I totally forgot. And so, like, when I started watching the movie, I was like, "What the fuck are we again?"
He's just so good, man. He's just he's so engrossing. Like he just sells it. Whatever he's doing, he sells it so well. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Was
he
Nightcrawler the last Jake Gyllenhaal movie we watched? Or has
No.
there
No,
been one?
Enemy. We did Enemy.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
like 2 episodes
Oh,
ago.
right, Enemy. Okay, yeah, okay. Well, at least in this one, he was playing a good guy. You know, just a little change of
Yes.
pace from his last
Yeah.
couple of movies we've watched. Really, all of them. Hasn't been a great guy in any of the others. So,
Yeah.
Any of them?
well, Velvet Buzzsaw, he's not great. He's not like a villain, but he wasn't awesome. And then in
Yeah, I don't remember
Nightcrawler, he's
liking anyone
definitely
in
not.
that movie. So
Well, I know everyone was kind of awful in that movie. I'm just saying, like, he definitely wasn't the hero in that movie. You're not rooting for him, and definitely not in Nightcrawler. And in Enemy, he's not a great guy. So, like, really, this is the first one we've watched where he's actually like you want to see him succeed.
Yeah.
makes you
he,
wonder
like-
about him in real life, right? Like if most of his roles he's playing like insidious characters, you know.
I think he's just got that face. He can do it really
He's
well.
got that intensity too. He can
Yeah.
He
pull it off.
does.
It's
He's very
believable.
yes. Yeah. Yeah.
We should probably do our intro and then do this.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. I'm Nate,
I'm Karina.
I'm Aaron.
and this podcast is limited to everything.
All right, Aaron, what were you saying?
Jake Gyllenhaal really good in this movie, like everything else he does. But the guy that really stole the show,
Paul Dano.
Hugh Jackman. Wait,
Oh,
what?
okay. I thought you were gonna say Paul
Terrence
Dano.
Howard.
Terrence.
No,
what's his name?
he was really good. I had never even heard of him
Who?
until
You hadn't seen Batman?
yes. I really don't really remember it.
Which
Wait,
who
no,
are you
it-
talking about? Which actor are you talking about right now?
Paul
Paul
Dano.
Dano, is that what you said? Yeah.
You hadn't seen him in anything before?
I've seen him in like clips of Batman, or maybe I'm just
And
not
that's it.
remembering. Yeah. What else
Oh.
is he in?
He's been in a lot of stuff. I mean, they're not all like huge movies, but he's like a working actor. I feel like he's in a lot of things.
He does play pretty
Name
similar characters
one.
in a lot of stuff, though,
A
from
creepy.
what I understand. Yeah.
But then but sometimes he plays totally different. Like I told you, I watched that like BBC version of War and Peace, and he's the main character in that, and he's a good guy
Oh, yeah?
who's like really upstanding and like
Okay.
innocent and kind of like pure-hearted and all of that. And he plays that character really well too. And he's in like Little Miss Sunshine and just playing like an older brother character. And so like he's done a lot of things.
Sunshine?
Yeah.
We always wonder with some people, like I know with Michael Cera, like he always plays super awkward people. And I think it might have been the Rooster Teeth podcast where they were at a party, like some after party, and he was there. And they were like, he's the same in real life. Like he was at this
That
big
doesn't
party and he was
surprise
just
me.
standing awkwardly in a corner, like drinking some alcohol. It's like he's not even acting. They just point the camera at him.
Probably.
Yeah.
No, I think Paul Dano can actually like. Is it Dano or Dano? I think it's Dano. He seems like he can. It's actually like it's acting. He does seem to have a range of characters he can play and play well. But I agree, he is somebody that kind of like Jake Gyllenhaal. Like it's not the same, but he definitely has like the face and the mannerisms to play somebody who's a little weird or
Eerie.
eerie. Oh, another one he was in. He was in oh, what is that movie called? It was some Netflix movie, but it was about the I just lost the name of it, but it's called Dumb Money. It's about the GameStop
Oh,
mark, like the stocks for GameStop a few years ago, how they were
No idea.
no.
a little too
You
soon to be
don't.
making a movie about that. That happened like yesterday.
What even was this
Isn't-
event?
You
You
remember that?
You don't remember this with the like a bunch of people, I don't, it's something like it was like a Reddit group or something that a bunch of people just bought up GameStop stock and were holding it, and it caused the price to like skyrocket. And it was, and then at the same time, and that was just all like private, just like random people investing. And then at the same time, there was like actual Wall Street, whoever people were, I'm trying to remember what it was called. They were trying to short it or something. Is
Yeah,
that they
so
basically were going to make money on it failing, and so they like it ended up being a court case. Like I think did it go to this? I don't know if it went to the Supreme Court, but it was like it was a whole big deal. A bunch of people made a ton of money off of it. It was pretty short lived though. It all happened over the span of like, I don't know what, a few weeks, a month, something like that. Do you remember more, Aaron?
No, not really. But it was a big deal, and
Yeah.
they like changed rules about how us little people can invest because of it.
Yeah.
Because Wall Street messed up and
That's
did something
crazy,
that
though.
did not make
That's
any,
crazy.
you know,
Like, the stock market should be equal opportunity.
It should be,
Should
but
be.
it's not. Yeah, because I think that's what it was. Like a couple of those, like whatever they are, like hedge fund management kind of companies. One of them, or maybe a couple of them, lost like billions of dollars on it. Like Yeah, like they really messed up. They lost a ton of money on it. Also, like Robinhood was a brand new thing at the time, and like they closed their app. Well, they maybe not brand new, but like they weren't as well known now as they or then I don't think as they are now or something. And like I think their platform was run a little differently. I think there were some law changes around that too or something. And they ended up like closing down their app for a while so people couldn't buy or sell or see what was going on with it because of the stuff that like the pressure they were getting from Wall Street and
Like
Their
it was
own
a
investors.
Robinhood started as like penny stocks, I think, because I remember a friend of mine was doing it back in like 2017 or something, 2018.
yeah, I guess
But it
so. I'm
was all
not right in
penny
saying that
stuff.
they were brand new, but I think, um,
I think they did blow up because of the GameStop thing, because it was such
yeah,
a
Oh
big
yeah.
global deal. Yeah.
yeah. But I think also because of that situation, it changed some laws around like how they're allowed to operate as well or something. I don't know. You should watch the Netflix movie. It was pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
maybe I should.
Like, but yeah, he plays the main character in that who's just like I don't know. Again, he's just like playing some average like middle class guy with a wife and a kid who's just like like he's kind of the one that he is it is like it was a real person that was kind of the one driving the we're not going to sell off, like we're going to stick it to Wall Street a little bit, and like this isn't about the money, this is about proving a point, kind of
Maybe what it
that thing.
is the same thing that we had with the Killian Murphy, where I was like, Killian Murphy always plays this dark, brooding, suave character, and you were like, no, he was in rom coms. Maybe I've just seen the films where these actors are like in their like roundhouse kind of like this is what they do really well. Like Paul Dano really does a very good socially awkward, doesn't fit in, kind of has some mental issues character. So,
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
anyways, so this is Prisoners from 2013, starring Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal, Terrence Howard, Paul Dano, some girls. I don't remember. I can't remember either of the
I
main
Well,
actresses.
Viola Davis is in it.
Viola Davis.
Viola
Okay,
Davis,
that's
yeah,
yeah, right,
she's a
right.
big name actress. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah, yeah.
know the other actresses though.
Yeah, I don't remember her name either. Um, but basically the premise is like, um, there's this. You've got Hugh Jackman who's like a doomsday prepper, and then him and the other family's little girl both like disappear, and they find the motorhome that was like parked in the area, and that's like Paul Dano's motorhome, so he's arrested, but they like can't find like there's no proof whatsoever that he took the girls, so they let him go, and Hugh Jackman's like convinced that this guy took the girls. For good reasons too, which we can get into. But like he's convinced that Paul Dano took the girls. Alex Jones, his name is, and so he kidnaps Alex basically, and is essentially torturing him to try and figure out where he took the girls and where he put the girls, right? And then while this is going on, you have Jake Gyllenhaal as like the lead investigator of the kidnapping, like tracking down actual evidence and clues and stuff and trying to figure out what happened to the girls. Um, yeah, that's kind of the synopsis. Um, but it's not that straightforward. I feel like it's very dark. It's very heavy and very dark
Yeah,
for
and
a
it's like a
lot of reasons.
I was literally just thinking about this before we all hopped on. It's dark in a more realistic, this could happen to
Hmm.
you kind of way. Uh, like a lot of the sketches or the bits from Love, Death and Robots, they have some dark stuff about them, but
It's very far removed from reality, typically.
yeah, yeah, and I guess the fictional setting can like lend itself to trying to go as dark as possible or whatever. Or so I was listening to the podcast on my way to Longview the other day, and you were talking about one of the episodes that we covered. I think it was Spider Rose. Was based on a short story,
Hmm.
and the ending of the short story is much darker than the
Yeah.
actual bit in the show. Yeah, so that super dark, but this is just in a different, more tangible, and therefore like darker way.
Well, because it doesn't feel like a hypothetical. Like a lot of Love, Death, and Robots is like, okay, consider like if you were in this already far-fetched situation and then things went wrong or unpredictable, you're dealing with unpredictable things.
Or
How
utopian
do we think?
societies, right? Or dystopian,
Well,
I
yeah,
guess.
right, but either way, it's far fetched. Like it's something that doesn't really feel like reality most of the time. And then it's like, so you can kind of try to be like, okay, does this feel reasonable? How would I respond? Do I feel like they wrote this in a way that's compelling? But like this feels very grounded in reality. Like this feels, not that far removed from a story you might see on the news anyway. Or
Yeah,
at least pieces of it.
And there's some irony in that, which is that Hugh Jackman is like his character Dover. I can't remember his first name. His last name's
Keller.
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 Keller. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Like he is a doomsday prepper, but not in the like I'm insane and I drive around a zombie prep vehicle kind of a way, but in a like prepared to live out of his basement for months on end kind of a way.
He wants to be
right?
self-sustained. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. But then there's like that's part of the irony, and that's a lot of what this film leans into is that he's prepared for everything, and then his daughter gets kidnapped. Whether it's because of his complacency or not, it's out of his control. And then also finding her is out of his control, right? So he's the guy who's ready for everything, and then he's put into a situation where he's helpless, right?
Yeah, and you can kind of see him like let go of his morals and lose his identity as he's trying to come to grips with that and do whatever he can to get his daughter back.
I also did think though that was also pretty grounded in that they didn't have him go like completely insane and like actually kill the guy. Or I mean, not to say that he doesn't go insane, but I'm saying that like at a certain no. I'm not trying to say
All
that
right,
his actions were reasonable or defensible at all. What I am trying to say is that they do show him having some like second thoughts about it. Remorse might not be the right word, but like I don't know. Like it felt more, I guess, like again, it feels believable to like how a really desperate person might actually act, because I do think like if they were gonna make it less realistic, they could have leaned into that and made it a lot more of like a gory, like terrible torture kind of thing. And instead, I feel like they went a route that it's like, okay, obviously still terrible and unhinged, but at least kind of feels like maybe lines a real person would cross versus going to the extreme of being like, I don't care what happens to this person.
Know.
I will literally do anything to them to...
Yeah,
because honestly, at first I was expecting it to be worse. Like the torture stuff, he shows up with a bag. I was expecting it to be more like not just him punching him in the face over and over and over again. I expected it to be worse. Like when he got the hammer out, I was like, okay, he's like actually going to break fingers or something or take this to the next level. And instead he just keeps punching him. So I don't know. It didn't feel... Go ahead.
It didn't feel. Oh, okay. So I was just gonna say that like his character has like a by any means necessary edge to him, but also he doesn't like it. He doesn't want to be doing this. You can like see that he's like pleading with him when he's beating on him, like just tell me. I don't want to do
there's
this
no
anymore.
enjoyment.
Yeah,
I wonder if it like leaning into his character, like his character is very faith based, right? Like he's very very religious. He's
starts
very
the movie
like
with the prayer.
yeah, right. And that's actually part of the premise, which we can get into for why the kidnappings are happening. But
Oh yeah.
I wonder if that's part of his character, where like that thing Alex says to him, like they didn't cry when I took them or whatever, and he's singing the song that the girls were singing. It's like this is evidence that he is staking his claim on, right? And it still requires faith, because as he's torturing Alex, essentially, he's not getting anywhere. But he has that cornerstone of like, I know this guy took them. There's like irrefutable proof. And so for that reason, he's willing to do terrible things because he has, I guess, faith in a way that he's going to get that he's doing the right thing, that he's going to get the end goal, end result, right, by doing this. And yeah, he doesn't want to do it, but it's that, and I think that's where that inner turmoil comes in, where it's like he's doing things he doesn't want to do, but he's like totally and utterly convinced that he's moving in the right direction and doing what he has to do, kind of.
The ends justify the means.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah,
He definitely
hey.
has that. But he's also not like, oh, I'll go to any lengths either. So I don't know. I guess my
like
point
the
is
fact that the fact that Alex didn't die, like there's a good chance that what he did could have killed someone. I mean, beating someone over and over again in the face, locking them into a shower, and literally pouring boiling water on them. Like, this is stuff that could kill a person.
right, but he does make the comment of he's like, there's nothing else I can do that won't kill him. And like he is kind of saying, like, okay, there's a line I'm not gonna cross. Like, I don't just want to kill this guy. I am trying to just get him to tell me. And like he says that over and over again of like, just tell me and this can be done. Like that's what he wants. That's what I'm saying is like, obviously, yes, unhinged, crazy, like psycho behavior still, but in a way that you're like, okay, maybe I could see like a parent that is desperate possibly going to some of these lengths if they really truly, like you said, believed with all their heart that this person knows where my child is, and I just need to do the right thing so that they'll tell me.
Do you guys think he was justified?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
No.
No.
Weird.
And part of it is, I guess part of it is the perspective that we have, right? Which is that, like, we've seen the whole film, and there's actually like there's a couple things that are really depressing about his actions. One is that I don't think anything that he does with Alex leads towards the girls at all. Like the girls being found. I don't think anything he does has really any impact on that whatsoever. And second of all, and even worst of all, Alex is innocent. I mean, apparently he did take the girls, but he was kind of like not with any malintent. He was just kind of doing stuff that his aunt told him to do. He never touched them, which she even like says, and I think that's true. Like, he didn't do anything. They got in the van, he took him to his aunt's house, that was it. And as far as we know, nothing physically really happened to the girls. Like, they were obviously sedated, but that's like it, kind of. So there's this like crazy, really dark irony in that the stuff that the stuff that Keller does to Alex is far worse than anything that happens to his daughter, right? Which is crazy because they're both innocent, essentially.
Yeah. And the fact that, like, I mean, I know they kind of leave it in question for most of the movie until you find out what's really going on, but they also do keep repeating that, like, he really is, like they say, he has the IQ of like a 10-year-old. He's not he's not a savvy, like, manipulative person. Like, he's genuinely, like, he's really not, he's almost behaving like he was a peer of one of the girls because they're supposed to be like 6, right? So like mentally he's not a whole lot older than them. For him, he was just like, oh, they thought the RV was cool. I took him for a ride because they liked it. And that's it. And that's as far as his thought process goes. Like, he really is like a child. And so that makes it even more sad because you're like, but especially by the time you get to the end, because you're like, he's not faking this. Like, he's not just being hard to crack. He is genuinely like, he doesn't have any other information to give. He doesn't know anything else. He can't help you. And I guess he was technically aiding his aunt, but like not really. He's not an accomplice. He's not. Yeah, he's not really
I think
complicit.
That Hugh Jackman's character knows this, though, that the guy that he's torturing is not, he's not there. He just doesn't care that he's not there. He's, the key to finding his daughter, and, is going to try to, get to his daughter by any means necessary. So, and like through the lens of his character, I think that he doesn't know all the stuff in the background's going on. He just knows that the cops aren't getting anywhere. he's gotten these little snippets from this guy, and he knows that this guy has something to do with the disappearance of his daughter. So I think in that way that he is kind of justified with what he does. Uh, he just knows that this guy's the key, and he needs to get to his kid by any means necessary. So he's just gonna keep on.
I just don't know what I would do in his situation, especially like he has the two interactions with Alex that like essentially are proof that that Alex had something directly to do with the girl's kidnapping. And obviously I'm not a father, so I don't know what that like kind of relationship is. But obviously it's a common idea that like a parent would do anything for a child, right? But there's something that's like I feel like there has to be a line, and I think the line is before killing the person. I think the line has to be closer than that, of what you're willing to do to someone. And I just don't know if I would be comfortable.
No one would be comfortable, but it's your kid. I don't know. Like,
I feel like
go ahead,
I feel
Karina,
like
then I have something to ponder about.
I think we all like to think that we would be like Terrence Howard's character in a way, where we're like, okay, we're willing in a way to like kind of push the envelope a little bit, like push our boundaries a little bit and maybe see if we can get something out of this guy. But at a certain point, he's like, okay, I can't take an active involvement in this anymore. Like, we're going too far.
Yeah.
Well, and like you said, I think this movie would be really different if we didn't have the Jake Gyllenhaal side of the story, because you probably would feel like he was far more justified if you weren't getting the police side of things and you didn't realize they had other things they were working on, they were making progress, and that they just hadn't put the pieces together yet and figured it all the way out. But if you didn't know any of that and you just knew the police let this guy go because they didn't have enough to go on and they don't really have any other leads, they're just hoping something shows up, you might be more inclined to be like, okay, this guy's desperate and the police are being zero help, so maybe we cut him a little bit of slack in going to a really desperate extreme to try and rescue his daughter. But definitely having the Jake Gyllenhaal side of the story where you know that he also cares deeply about finding these kids. Like, he is taking it super seriously. We see that over and over, that, like when he's getting mad at his chief or whatever, where he's like, why didn't you tell me this and that? Like, I would have been there. I would have stayed all night to make sure this person didn't leave, or I would have sent extra guys or whatever. Like, he cares a lot about solving this and bringing those girls home safely. And so knowing his side of the story, I think that by the time you get to the end of the movie, it really makes Hugh Jackman's actions pretty inexcusable, regardless of
if you have this like omnipotent view,
right? But as the viewer,
you as an audience member,
you
can see, yeah. But if you can put yourself in his shoes, where he has no idea about this priest who dealt with this guy that was kidnapping kids and shit, and the stuff that the detective is uncovering, all you know is that the one lead is now out of jail, and when you went and confronted him in the parking lot, he said something like to you nobody else heard. It's like it's you versus the world now, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't think I would do it or anything like that, but I think that it's a little justified. A little justified.
How much?
What else is he supposed to do?
How much jail time do you think he's getting at the end of this movie?
Guess that depends
I have no
on
idea.
How sympathetic other characters are towards his situation.
Yeah.
I don't know how the justice system works in the first place, so
because it would. I mean, I would assume like he didn't kill the guy, so he's not guilty of murder or anything. Like, he did kidnap him and beat him up,
torture,
and torture him, but he didn't kill him. So he doesn't
I
have a
just
life on
imagine
his
like holding
hands.
up Alex in the courtroom, like, look, he's still alive.
He's still alive. I didn't kill him. It's fine.
His eyes are
I
all swollen shut.
Yeah.
I think that it would just be a matter of like how sympathetic is the jury to your situation. Like, are they going to be pretty understanding and be like, you know what, we understand you didn't have all this other info, you didn't know what was going on. Like, we'll be light with what we want to sentence you to or accuse you of, or if they would just be like, no, that is still not okay. And I mean, you know, who knows? You know, we don't get to see a court case, so it would just be a matter of probably how sympathetic the justice system is to
But
his
man,
actions.
see stuff from Alex's point of view. Like, he didn't really do anything wrong. And he gets like destroyed. He gets like the living daylights beat out of him. Like, you know?
Oh, I know. I'm
He's
not
the
saying
real
that
victim in the film. Like, he's not the
He
girls
is.
that are kidnapped. He's the victim of the film.
I think the biggest victim is the one guy that's buying the children's clothes and stuff. That was
Well,
crazy fucked up. Well, yeah, because no, he was one of the kids that was kidnapped.
oh
And
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
then,
right. He was.
Yeah.
He
yeah,
was,
yeah.
There's definitely a common thread of like trauma, like what trauma does to you, right? Because like you have Alex who's kidnapped, and she hints at like some like, oh, since the event with the snakes, he hasn't been himself. It's like, what the hell did they do to him, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
But you've got the other guy who's like living, who's got all the snakes in the buckets. You've got Dover, who found his dad kill him, like post-suicide, like found his dad. You've got whatever happened to Jake Gyllenhaal, we don't know, but he's got the blinking thing going on, which I think is indicative of physical abuse or some kind of abuse.
He's got the
Um,
crosses
well,
and
well, he makes
religious
he makes that
memorabilia.
comment where when he's talking to the priest and he says, "I spent like 6 years in some boys' home." He's like, "I know how you treat it like this." So I think that's where they are saying like maybe not as bad as what some of these other people went through, but definitely was mistreated by adults while he was still a
I don't know if
kid.
he's hinting at sexual abuse because a lot of times that's kind of in the mix in situations like that. But
Yeah,
So
whatever it
that
was,
scene-
it was while he was at the boys' home. I think is what they're trying to say, that he had 6 years of going through something.
Yeah, that scene though, where they're next to the basement. Um, did you guys make the connection that the dead guy down there was the chick's
the
husband?
dad, the husband, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
assumed
didn't until
because he
this
has,
morning.
yeah, because he has the necklace. I mean, that's and she said that he like disappeared, like he left 6 years ago or something
Yeah.
like that.
I guess I
right?
didn't see the bit with the necklace. I just
Oh, okay. Because
yeah.
I was like, they kind of spell that out pretty clearly
Do
for
they
you
make it
in
really
the
obvious?
film.
Okay, I might have
Yeah,
been scrolling on
because
my phone on the first viewing.
It's like the final scene when Jake Gyllenhaal's in her house right before he finds him, and he like picks up the picture of her husband, and he's like a picture of him in front of the camper van, and he's got the same necklace on.
yeah, the pendant thing, yeah,
Mm.
Yeah. So,
and then it's like, oh yeah, duh. At that
but
point,
so does the other guy. I don't remember his name. The Paul Dalmatian, whatever that guy's name is. The other guy, the guy with all the snakes. That guy also has like the necklace, and he's drawing the maze everywhere. Like,
but
there's
he's
some
not
like
dead.
really weird like quasi cult kind of thing that's being hinted at.
I honestly
this.
wish they would have done more with that kind of, because I felt like it was kind of an odd thing to introduce for how little they used it, and maybe that's just me, but like I felt like it was gonna be more important when like we were seeing him draw mazes all over the inside of his house, and then uh, the book of mazes and
Like Jake
the
Gyllenhaal's character was
necklace.
gonna have to go through a maze or something like that in order to find the girl.
I don't even know if I necessarily thought it was going to be like a literal maze, but I just was kind of expecting it to be a little bit more important to the story, that there would be a,
Well,
I don't know, this
I
that it
think
would
it's obvious
influence it
that
more than just being like, oh, this is so you know that this is all connected back to this one guy. Like it seemed a little, like you said, almost like culty and like so weird that I was expecting it to be a little bit more important.
Yeah, wait, is the maze literal or figurative?
What do you mean?
Like, do they actually was there a physical maze for them to go through, or is this some other like
I
they
don't
were
think
using like
so.
LSD and like drugs on these people, right? Cause or something
I
like
don't.
that.
Did we watch the same movie?
I
Yeah.
don't think there
Okay.
was any
So remember
LSD
the
involved.
book?
Yeah.
There was a book that Jake Gyllenhaal's character talks about, and he thinks that like what's going on is like, inspired by that or something like that. What was she doing to these people then? Just drugging them and then
Well, that's what I'm saying is I expected it to be more important. Like we get the one little clip too where she's talking about the girls and you or something. Maybe it's not her. There is one point where we get a little clip of the girls and we see that they have like a note or something that's like you can go when you've completed all the mazes or whatever and there's like a book
Mm-hmm.
of them. So it's
oh, it's
I
literally
don't know. That's
just
what I'm saying is like I expected it to be a little bit more pivotal to the story instead of just being like, "Oh, the necklace," you know. I I
I feel like
expected
there's
them to
probably more to
expand
it.
on it a little bit more. Like even if it is like I didn't expect it to be literal like, "Oh, you have to navigate this actual maze somewhere." But I don't know. Like it felt like there was almost like too little of it for how much they showed us. I don't know if that makes sense. It just seemed a
I think
little.
it's obvious that the point of the film is much more about how the protagonists deal with the situation rather than what the story of the antagonists is, right? Because I also felt like the premise for why the kidnappings was happening was pretty cheesy, where it's like
It
she's
was.
like, "Oh, we were like
Warring against
we were
God.
mobile evangelists and then
I
like
don't
our
even
son
know if
died of
that's
cancer."
legit. Well, I don't
I
even know
think
if
it's
that's
legit.
legit.
I believe that.
I don't
I believe
know.
that. No,
I
I
don't know if
believe
I
it.
believe. Well, I believed it initially when I didn't realize it was her, but then when
No, but
when you find out that she's the person, I was like, well, I wouldn't really be surprised if she was just saying that because she saw that he was like a man of faith or whatever, and she was just trying to be like, oh, here's something to
Provocative.
say.
no,
Because it
but
was
the
all
thing
really
is,
vague too.
no,
And
because when she's really divulging the details, it's their second meeting. It's her second meeting with Hugh Jackman where she's already got the gun on him and everything. She makes him drink the stuff, and then she starts telling him why they've been kidnapping kids. Like all of that, she's already won, you know? It's the typical like the protagonist has no way out, so the antagonist starts telling about all their plans and ploys and all this kind of stuff, right?
You caught me
well, but
monologuing.
Exactly. Basically,
she talked about the like driving around being evangelists and the son dying when they first met when she invited him in for like a cup of tea or whatever. That was when she
I don't
talked
know,
about that. When
maybe.
she gets the gun on him, she's mostly just like being a villain. Like she's not really talking about that. And then she doesn't talk about it much more until she has him in the car and then she tells him like she says the thing about like this is the war we wage against God. Like she doesn't talk about it a whole lot. Like she
But
doesn't really go
anyways,
back to the story stuff. So I don't know. I'm not sure if I believe that any of that was real or if she was just trying to connect with him and like throw
I
off
believe it's real
suspicion.
because it makes sense with what they're doing, right? Like they lost their kid, and so in turn, they are taking other people's kids who are people that like have some sort of faith in God. They're putting these people basically in this as some sort of coping mechanism or something. They're putting these people in the same situation that they had to go through by taking their children and watching how it breaks their soul, basically.
Okay, but like I don't know, maybe it was accidental then that they took the other girl because she's like we don't ever see any hint of like
Well, it's
religious
Alex that
anything
took him.
from
I mean, I don't. He didn't have a lot of control. I don't think.
He's like doing a survey with him, like right beforehand. Like, do you
Yeah.
believe in God?
Well, that's what I'm saying is like how planned out was it anyway? Because if he took them both by accident to begin with, like she has no way of controlling that then. She didn't she may have picked other victims like the snake guy and Alex, but she didn't handpick these victims. Like if Alex just was like, "Oh, they like the RV." Cuz at no point do they make it sound like he was working on her direction to pick them up. Like it sounds like he just saw they were interested in the RV, he took them for a ride. it doesn't, I didn't get the feeling that it was supposed to be that he was like also in league with her some way, that she was like, hey, bring them back to the house for me or something, which makes me
Yeah, I'm
feel
not
like she
sure.
didn't actually pick these victims, but she was willing to go with it because they were brought to her, kind of like. So then that kind of feels like it's not that she's necessarily only, I don't know, maybe it just worked out. I don't know if she was targeting people, cuz her reasoning is, she says it's the war we wage against God, but she's like, then she says something about like, because it shows us like how monstrous people are or
Turns
something. And it's
people
like,
into
well, that doesn't
demons.
really sound like you're mad at God, even. That kind of sounds like you're trying to make a point about human nature or something. And that doesn't really feel like it would be necessarily connected to losing your son to cancer.
Well, I think if she's targeting people like that are like believers, that are followers of God, and making them break and making them do just making them suffer. It's her way of like getting back at God. Because how do you get back at God? Like he's not a physical. You can't get back at him, right? And so the only way that she can is by getting back at the people that are followers of him, I guess.
I
Anyways, my whole
guess.
point. My point is that I didn't like that premise for the kidnappings. I thought it was kind of cheesy and silly. So I'm
Yeah, it's a little
not like, we're
weak.
kind of arguing here, but I'm actually like I don't like that part of the. I feel like they could have come up with something a bit more interesting or engaging as for why the kidnappings were happening. But again, that's not the point of the film. The point of the film is Hugh Jackman's, how he handles the situation that he's put in, right? So
Yeah. In some ways, it almost feels like it would have been better if they didn't even bother to try and explain why they were kidnapping kids. Because, like, I feel like some of that adds unnecessary stuff to it, because it's like, it's so not, there's so little about it that's actually fleshed out, that it's like, maybe it would have just been better if you left it without telling them any reason why their kid was kidnapped, or what the, you sometimes I think if the focus is not, if the focus of the story is not why are these people kidnapping kids, what's their motive, if the focus is how does the parent respond to their kid being kidnapped, then at the end of the day the reasoning for their kid being kidnapped doesn't really matter at all in the story. And I feel like you almost should have just left it alone entirely, because it's like, it also didn't add anything to the story. And like you said,
but
it's a pretty,
maybe there's no movie then. You know what I
Yeah, I think it's
mean?
important to have a motive. Cause so this person's just evil. That's
well
just it.
well, my point is that it's like, how, like, you could just be so much more generic with it, like, the sad reality
Is
is that
that what
kids
you
get
want
kidnapped
though?
all the time. Well, okay, but what I'm saying is, if you're going to give a motive and you're going to spend time on that, then shouldn't the story also give that more attention and spend more time making sure it's something that makes sense, that's interesting. Like you said, it's kind of a silly reason that they give, and it wasn't well fleshed out, and it just feels kind of, like you said, cheesy, and just like a weird, like, okay, like they just kind of threw it in. And if the point of the story is not the villain's story of why do they kidnap kids or what is their end goal, then I think you could just kind of leave it vague anyway, because kids get kidnapped, unfortunately, a lot. And I don't know how often people actually get a reason anyway. Like, so if there are just bad people out there that just do things, and like, it doesn't, I don't know that it necessarily has to have like a compelling reason. And because they didn't give it a very compelling one anyway, it almost just seems like, why not just leave it ambiguous anyway? Because he's so in the dark for most of the movie anyway. Like, why does it really matter what the villain's reason was? It's about him making assumptions and doing what he thinks is right based on his own assumptions and the information he has. And he doesn't have any of that info while he's torturing Alex anyway.
So this is a Denny movie. So I think that all the decisions that were made were probably made on purpose and very deliberate. So I feel like her motive, there's probably more to it, and it probably does make more sense if just with some more information or something like that. I want to know more about the mazes, and I want to know the connection between the book and the crimes.
What is it with
What?
the book again? It's some
Yeah, where'd they find
uh
it? What was it?
Well, they said it was a
Can't,
well
book
they
that had been written by some weirdo a long time ago, and that like it was just a bunch of mazes, and that the last one in the book was unsolvable, and that was the one that the guy had on his necklace, and the one that the guy was drawing at the police station.
but the
yeah, so I think
premise
that
for the
knowing more
book
about the
is
book.
more the premise for the book is more than just that it's a bunch of mazes, right? Like isn't it something about some disappearance or something?
Yeah, I could have sworn it had something to do with kidnapping people and then
I
drugging
don't
them
Yeah.
with
remember.
LSD and stuff. Is it a real book?
Probably
Yeah,
not.
That'd be crazy if it was a real book, actually.
he just read that book and was like, "Damn, I need to make a movie out of this."
I kind of would believe it, honestly.
Yeah, that wouldn't really surprise me.
When I was watching the like extra credits at the end of the movie, though, Denny looked really young, and I'm wondering like, which, how many movies has he done by this point? Is this
Does
his
he? Oh, you were watching some
first, his
post.
third? Yeah, he looked really young compared to now, or even in the extra credit stuff of Enemy.
Well, he's got a lot of gray hair now 'cause, like just watching some stuff post Dune, like
Yeah, yeah. Dune was really decent though.
this is also like
Prisoners
12 years
was
old.
when?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like yeah,
let's
2013.
see. The Finding the Invisible Man is the name of the book.
Oh, yeah.
Um
Is it real?
um
Tell me it's real.
oh, so no, cuz it's saying that it's hinting that the book might have been about oh, it's saying that it might have been about the aunt's husband. Because I guess the Invisible Man, it's about a bunch of kidnappings that happened that nobody ever found, and so they were assumed not to be kidnappings, but just
Oh, that's
unexplained
right. That's
disappearances.
right.
And so I think
Yeah.
it's hinting at it being the aunt's husband and her, like they're the ones that
Are the
the book is
cause.
actually based on. Yeah.
Also, speaking of the aunt's husband, I suppose we could call him the uncle. The I didn't, maybe I missed something in the dialogue, but I didn't understand why he was dead in the basement of the church. Like I know he went to the priest and was like, "Hey, I want to confess for like the
So
kidnapping of
that's
16 kids or something." But why was he dead tied to a chair in the basement? I
because
missed.
I think that's
Did the
more of
priest
like
kill him?
dealing with yeah, the priest killed him. I think that's what it is. It's more like dealing with when good people are find themselves in a position where they have to do something bad. And I think
I don't
this
think he
is a
was good.
situation. Well, okay, yeah, sorry,
He's a
whatever, you know.
pedophile
Okay, yes, sorry.
or a
Definitely
sexual
not
predator. I don't know what.
aligning my
Yeah.
beliefs with that. But my point is that like the priest found himself in a position where killing this guy was probably the lesser evil than letting him, because the guy, like when the guy came to him, he said he was going to go back out and like take more kids or whatever, and so then
Did
it's
he say
implied
that?
that the
I don't remember
priest,
that part.
yeah, so it's implied that the priest then killed him and hid the body essentially.
Oh, okay. I guess I missed. I remember hearing the part where the priest was explaining that the guy came to him and was like, "Yeah, I'm guilty of like kidnapping 16 kids or whatever." I did not hear anything about like that he was also saying, "I'm going to go out and keep doing it." I thought that he went to the priest because he was like, "I can't live with myself anymore. I need to stop and I want to get this off my chest." That's what I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was like, I don't really understand why he's dead. But that wasn't unexpected also for me. Like in this movie, I wasn't really expecting him to jump down into a church basement and find a dead body. Like that was a little.
Dude, there were multiple
It's
times in
not the
this where I was
not
like,
the route I thought this movie was going.
there were multiple times in this film where I was like, ooh, I could not do this job. Like, I know it's a film, but like jumping down into the basement, like obviously the guy's trying to hide the basement. Like he pushed his fridge in front of the door. And then you have no, like it's just a drop off down into like this basement, right? Like, and you just have to do it because you have the obligation to. Like there's missing children, you know? Same thing when he's in the aunt's house and he finds the picture and he can't find the aunt. It's like, it's so Like I just couldn't do it. Like I don't have the balls to be that kind of person and put
Not
myself in
just
those kind of
dropping into the
situations.
basement. The owner of the basement is sleeping, like in the living room.
Well,
Yeah.
blackout drunk in the living room. That's a little
How
different.
do you? I take my chances. Maybe he's not.
Well,
And
okay,
he
I was
hears the
Yeah.
gonna say,
knocking, and then he
I
like
am.
like pretends to collapse the same way that Hugh Jackman's character lays down
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
abandoned
Yeah, yeah,
house.
yeah.
Yeah,
Which,
No,
by
no,
the
no.
way,
So with the
quick thinking on Hugh Jackman's part. That
yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't know what
He's a
I would have done
prepper,
in
you
that
know. He prepped.
situation, but wow, yeah,
I probably would have tried to climb out a back window or something. That's what I thought he was
That's
going
what
to
I
do at
thought.
first,
Yeah, yeah.
but no. Okay, so with the priest one, yeah, I was thinking at the time, I was like, why would he not call for backup in that situation? Because it's like
yeah.
you've looked in the basement, you know the kids are not down here. Like you have an unexplained dead body, which is definitely cause for concern, but because the priest is upstairs and you're not sure if he's actually blackout drunk and is not a threat or if he's just faking it, like why wouldn't you just go back up there and point a gun at him and call for backup and wait for other people to get there? But I
Because you
feel
need
like
a
with the situation,
tense scene in
He
the film.
doesn't
That's
play
why.
by the
I know,
books.
I know, but with the one in the aunt's house, I was like, okay, I kind of understand that though, because like he's just made that connection with like, oh, this is who this is in the picture. And okay, now I understand like the 16 kidnappings, like all of this. Like you can't be like, well, I'll just come back later or something. Like you have
Right.
to do something at that moment because you've got the
Also, when he's in
you're
Snake Guy's house, it's like
yeah.
you just have to start kicking in doors and like, but I would be so terrified, like I wouldn't be able to handle it. And that in that case, he puts the guy in his car first, right? Before I'm not sure at what point he puts him in the car, but he puts him in the car before he starts like opening the cases in the
Yeah.
room.
I think it's when he finds the room full of cases, right? And that's when he
Yeah.
goes back and puts him in the car, and then he comes back and he's just like, all right, he gets a crowbar and he's like, just got to start opening these and hoping I don't find dead children in them.
Yeah,
Which
basically.
is definitely what it leads you to believe you're about to see.
Yeah,
Which
this
actually
movie was
that
so. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that character, the Snake character, is interesting because like he was also one of the kidnapped victims at one point, and as far as we know, he never did anything wrong. Like he never.
You know,
The worst thing he did was breaking and entering to take the girl's clothes.
he was being a
Like,
little
Yeah.
creepy. Yeah.
He's
yeah,
definitely not he's definitely not okay, but
Yeah.
he's but yeah, like if all he did was break in to take their clothes as like some kind of weird coping mechanism for
Oh,
himself.
Because he's
Well,
traumatized.
yeah, he's the one where they found the
He's
book.
trying to
So, like,
solve it,
he
right?
went through a kidnapping, and he's got this book that he's fascinated by, and so maybe he's doing like not Stockholm syndrome, but like imitation in a way, right? Where
Well, I
like
think
he's
he's
Well, that's
trying
what
to
is.
be.
I thought he was literally one of the people that was kidnapped.
I think he was.
Yeah, he was.
I thought
He
they
was.
said. I thought
Yeah,
they
yeah,
said he
yeah.
was.
Like, so
Yeah.
he
So
he went through his whole maze thing, and now he's obsessed with. Yeah, I have no
I
idea
think he's
whether
imitating
he
because
was.
like he takes children clothes, puts pig's blood on them, like he does all this, like he's like signaling in a way, kind of, but he doesn't actually do anything, But he's
Yeah,
like
his
Right.
entire
imitating that
house
kind
is
of.
like scrawled with pictures of the
mazes.
maze
Yeah.
and different
Yeah.
lines.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying. Like he's clearly not okay. Like this,
Yeah,
it really
yeah.
like did it. Like his experiences did a number on him for sure. Like he probably should not be allowed to just walk around in society. But it is like, yeah, the worst thing he actually did was breaking and entering, and like chances are he probably wasn't up to anything that was actually sinister. Like it doesn't
I
look
don't
like
think
he
so.
had any intention of ever actually like taking a child, harming a child. He wasn't at that vigil because he was like guilty. It was probably just again part of like the coping mechanism that there's some kind of like
he
he
feels a
can
bond
relate.
with the.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
can relate. He's like, I've this has been me. I have been the one that was the missing kid. And
What's
so
crazy about it though is like when Jake Gyllenhaal is confronting him at the front door, and you hear about like why are you buying children's clothes? You don't have any children, and like you see the guilt on his face, or like he knows he's fucked. Um, I think at that point, like I don't know, at least me as a viewer, you like have this like animalistic rate, like you want this guy the worst things possible to happen to him. You just don't feel like
Because
he's
you
even
assume that
human
he's
anymore.
guilty.
He's just, yeah,
Right.
exactly. And then by the end of the movie, you're like, oh my God, he was the biggest victim of them all. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
And it's so sad because you're like, this guy
broken
really
human.
should have like gotten, he deserved help of some kind,
They
somebody to
blew his
help
head
him
off.
like cope with this because clearly he wasn't okay. Like between the kids' clothes and the drawing mazes and the eventually killing himself over this, it's like it is really sad because you're like, oh, this guy should have been getting professional help, somebody to help him like process these things in a healthy way instead of having to just do the best he could with his trauma on his own, like completely alone. Like it is really, really sad where, you know, you just,
I wonder if there's some messaging also in the film. Just as we're talking about this, I'm thinking about like if there's some messaging in this film about people not being what they appear to be at first shake. Like you've got Alex Jones and the Snake guy that both from the outset appear like creepy, messed up, disturbed, not okay people. Ultimately, they're both innocent people that are victims and have been abused, and they're not actually sinister or evil kind of in any way. You have Keller, who is being presented as this like stand-up,
Family man.
participating family man, red-blooded American, participates in society, stand-up dude, believes in God. He's the one that is really kind of in a way, I don't want to say depraved, but like he does the worst things of anyone in the film, right? You've got Jake Gyllenhaal, who at first glance you're like, this guy looks sketchy. Like he's got a bunch of tattoos, he's got weird twerk, like weird clicks and stuff, but he's a great guy, right? You've got the aunt who
and then
looks
you've got
innocent
the
and
aunt.
unassuming. She's evil, right? So like I feel like there's this kind of this theme of like you see someone in the film and you make assumptions.
Well, I would argue that she is probably the most horrendous one, and then Hugh Jackman, because like
Probably.
she's made a career out of kidnapping and also like
Yeah, right, right.
I
torturing
think, yeah,
children to some
I don't think
extent.
it's a
Like,
probably. I think it's a definitely with certainty. She's the
yeah.
villain. She's the person.
So
I don't even think that Hugh Jackman's character is. I don't think he's necessarily,
I
like a
don't think he's an
model
evil
for,
person.
morality or something like that. Yeah, but like, at what point would you not uh do whatever it took to get your kid back? Like, let's say that Alex Jones was a for sure, certified pedophile, and Hugh Jackman's character had all the information on the fact that he's guilty. It's a little bit more reasonable, right, that he would do that kind of stuff, right?
I think you could. I think you would give him more sympathy. I
I
don't
think
know
it
that
calls
that
into
it's.
I think it calls into question the difference between like having love and dedication to someone to the point where you're willing to die for them versus where you're willing to kill for them, right?
Exactly. I think that, yeah. And not just kill, but there's also, you can break that up further though, where you're willing to kill someone who's guilty, whether you're, willing to torture someone who's guilty, whether you're willing to torture somebody who was just connected and they're the key. They might be innocent, but that's your only avenue to get back to your kid. And then let's say you're in like some sort of twisted, Saw movie-esque scenario where you're given, somebody who's definitely innocent, has no connection whatsoever, but for some reason, again, that's your only avenue to get back to your kid. Are you willing to, how many innocent people, yeah, how far are you willing to go? And at what point is it no longer justified?
Yeah. Well, and because again,
I
like
think pretty fucking far.
and I think the setting too also draws like if you were given a different setting, a different context for this, maybe a different time in history or just I don't know. Because the thing is also like even though he's not happy with the job that the police are doing, you know that the context of this movie is that there is law enforcement. They are aware of what happened. They are actively working on it. And there's a guy who is pretty dedicated to solving the case who is assigned to it. Like, there's not negligence on the part of the police. They are doing their best with what they have.
But
But,
from
like,
Hugh
again,
Jackman's point of view, there
but,
is.
Yeah,
well, I know. But I'm saying, like, again, as the viewer, so, like, there's also that element of, like, he's just, like, being a vigilante. And, like, I think if the setting was different, if you had a setting that was more like Wild West kind of thing, where it's like like law enforcement is like pretty scarce. It's a lot of like just do whatever, you're kind of responsible for yourself, and a lot more acceptable to take the law into your own hands, like it has been in certain times and places throughout human history, you would probably feel more inclined to like side with Hugh Jackman and be like, all right, well, you know what? If he didn't do it, nobody was going to do it. But like the fact that you also have the context of knowing that even though he's unhappy with the job that the police are doing, there are people actively working on the case who care. They just have to go through legal avenues. Like they can't just take somebody into a room and beat them to a pulp and be like, tell us everything you know. You know, that's what he tells them. He's like, look, we can only hold him for like 48 hours unless we press charges, and we don't have anything to press charges. It would be fraudulent. So like they are having to be law abiding, even though it's, you know, in Hugh Jackman's perspective, it's less productive. And then kind of the irony is in the amount of time that he spends beating this guy up and trying desperately to get more information, he accomplishes nothing. And during that time, like at the end of the movie, like he, like you said, it didn't do anything to solving the case, and he didn't get any additional information. He didn't get any further steps ahead of the police. Like it still ended up where Jake Gyllenhaal ended up at the same place the same night that Hugh Jackman did. Like they got to the same location at the same time, basically. Didn't solve any
except
problems.
Hugh Jackman was sedated in the ground below a Trans Am.
Right.
But you can't fault him for trying, though. Like,
Yeah.
I think is my thing. Like,
And
I think
also,
at this
here's
point,
the thing: like at the point where he kidnaps Alex, you're totally on his side because you have the same information Hugh Jackman does, which is kid. Like he was parked outside. We know it was his van.
You see him picking up the dog.
Okay, so
know
we
this
hear
guy's
what
a
he,
creep.
first of all, we hear what he says to Hugh Jackman in the parking lot, so you know he said it. We see him pick up the freaking dog. Like, this guy's got mental issues, right? We hear him singing the song. It's like, up to this point in the movie, like, I'm on Hugh Jackman's side. But even then, when he kidnaps him, and I'm like, that doesn't, I'm already like, oh, that doesn't seem right. Like, there's something off about that, you know? And then he starts, beating him up, and it just gets worse from there. But up to that point in the film, you don't.
Well, so I thought he was going to walk up and shoot him in the back of the head, at which point I was like, that's not the move. Kidnapping, though, I think that's the move. Yes, because what is he... Killing the guy is not going to get his daughter back.
Right, of course.
But maybe torturing will.
And I was going to ask you, Nate, like, what would be the outcome of that situation of him walking up to him with a gun that you'd be like, yeah, I'm still tracking. I'm still on board with this. Because if kidnapping is too far and shooting him in the back of the head is too far, like, what do you think would have been the move there?
Listen, just a good old-fashioned case of punch him once in the face and the guy starts spouting all the information out. I mean, come on.
Just once.
Because it's so easy.
Turn this 2.5-hour movie into like 45 minutes.
Not quick. Even. Like, just 30.
Yeah, it was
nice
and
snappy.
It really gets into it really quick, and then there's just so many moving parts and so many different plot lines. When Jake Gyllenhaal's character finds the weirdo with the clothes and all that, I was really concerned that was the twist. It was never about the other guy,
You're right.
All that kind of stuff. Yeah, and I was like, I'm going to be disappointed if this is where it ends. And so I looked at the time. It was 50 minutes still left.
Honestly, that would have been even darker, though.
That point where he finds the snake guy, I feel like that's right in the part of the film where Hugh Jackman's really going ham on Alex. And so the timing's kind of right to really drive the, like, point, not really the point, but, like, to really drive the darkness of the film home, where you have Hugh Jackman, like, actively torturing someone he thinks is, like, complicit, while at the same time you have Jake Gyllenhaal maybe finding the girls at the same time, totally unconnected to Alex, right? That would be maybe too dark in a way. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that would be so much darker, because then it would be like, not only was this person innocent, but they were completely unconnected. Like, not that it justifies anything, but at the very least, Alex is actually connected a little bit in that he did actually pick up the girls and take them to his aunt's house, and he is a victim of that whole situation. But yeah, if it had been like totally unrelated, like, nope, he's just some guy who happened to be parked in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he's a little like mentally unstable and but also like low IQ or whatever,
scenario,
and then
in that scenario, Hugh Jackman wouldn't have gone as far as he did, right? Like the evidence that Hugh Jackman has is enough that he's willing to go as far as he is.
That's why he's doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise,
Although
he's just a psycho.
I will say another thing that I thought was a pretty weak piece of evidence on Hugh Jackman's part, though, was the fact that he uses the Jingle Bells song as evidence. And I'm like, every kid has been singing that song for as long as, like...
Listen.
I don't know. It's literally a couple days after
very...
his kid just... Yeah.
And this guy was in custody. He was parked outside the house.
Yeah,
I'm just
that's
saying.
The most
watch him pick
evidence.
up a dog with a leash.
No.
Okay, I know.
Listen, you're so wrong. The song
many...
is the most compelling evidence of everything he sees.
Well, not only that, but okay, so this is after the
most compelling evidence is him saying, like, they didn't cry when I dropped them off or something. That's the most compelling evidence. Him singing the song is not, especially because they say over
it's
and
the
over,
cherry on
he
top.
has the IQ of a 10-year-old. He's basically a child. Like, that means that...
You're out of pocket.
Like, the number of times that goes through my head if I hear, like, Jingle Bells during the holiday season, where it's like, it's one of those stupid childhood things that you can't ever forget it, and because every kid sings it. He's basically a 10-year-old still, and it's, like, after Thanksgiving, so... holiday music
in
and stuff would be
isolation,
playing. It's
maybe.
Not that. I just felt like it was pretty. I was like, it's Hugh Jackman seeing what he wants to see is how it felt to me. It's
I disagree. As if somebody else was walking down the street singing that song and he kidnapped them and started beating them up,
yeah,
that's
like,
a different
hey,
story.
My kids used to sing that, but this guy literally said they cried when I left him.
Yeah,
which is kind of fucked up because the kids probably found him to be comforting, and then he had to leave him there for the aunt to.
The fact though that Hugh Jackman goes, "Where'd you hear that song?" It's like, bro, everyone's heard that song. What do you mean? Where'd you hear that song? Like,
what are you going on about right now?
That's what he says when he walks up to him with the gun. He's like, "Where'd you hear that song?" Like, that's his opening line, and I'm like. Okay, maybe you hear it as in you're like, okay, that's clearly evidence, but like that's still such a dumb line of logic for me for him to be like, where'd you hear that song? Like, you don't think that, I don't know. Like, I just felt like it felt weak to me in the moment when I was watching it. I was like, okay, I guess.
What would you say in the moment? You walk up behind him, he's singing that song. You're convinced that this guy is definitely connected to the kidnapping. What would you say?
I don't think I would have commented on the song. I think I'd be going back to what he said in the parking lot about like, they didn't cry when I dropped them off. I think that would be the thing that would stick with me, that I'd be like, that's what I want to ask about. Be like, where'd you drop my kid off? What did you do? Who else is involved? Who'd you drop them off with? Like, show me where you dropped them off. Something like that. I don't think I would bring up the song. I don't think that would be the first thing on my mind.
When he's in the car, I feel like he probably was going to go through with it no matter what. But when he's in the car, it almost feels like he's kind of debating what to do. Then he sees the dog thing, and he's like, this guy is a creep. And then he hears the song, and then it's like, I feel like that cemented his decision.
My gut reaction was like, everyone's heard that version of the song. That is a pretty weak thing to go off of, especially now if it was like the middle of July and these girls had been singing this and then he heard him, I'd be like, you know what, that's more reasonable, because it'd be like, hey, nobody's singing Jingle Bells this time of the year except maybe a couple of 6-year-old girls. The fact that it's like clearly shown to be it's after Thanksgiving and so holiday music is going to be playing everywhere, and this guy has the IQ of a 10-year-old, it just doesn't feel like a very compelling thing to me. And I think
this is a really weak thing to criticize. This is crazy weak.
I'm just telling you, it stuck out to me. I'm telling you, it stuck out to me as something where I was like,
I'm telling
really?
you, you're wrong, and I think Aaron's agreeing with me. So
if that was the only connection, then yeah, it'd be weak. But I think the fact that he had that thing in the parking lot just the day before, or however long before, and then that on top of it, I think it did nothing but concrete.
To me, that thing in the parking lot seems like enough, though, that you don't need the other things. I don't know. Go ahead.
No, but
listen, as a viewer of the film, when Alex walks out of the house, you don't know who's done what yet. This is early in the film. Alex walks out of the house, looks around, picks up the dog. You're like, oh, this guy's messed up. Like, he probably did take the girls, right? And then you hear him start singing the song. You get chills because you're like, oh, that's what they were singing. I did, and I've seen the movie 3 times. I was like, oh. I was like, oh, this guy, he totally took him. He's singing the song they sang. He's obviously got mental issues. What he said to me in the parking lot, like, this guy, like, they're probably in that house. Like, you know?
Also, though, if he thought they were in that house, why didn't, like, I don't know. I don't think it was well thought through, I guess, in that part. Because, like, if you know, you've now staked out his house, you know where he lives, why wouldn't you just start by, like, you've already got a gun. Why don't you just start by barging in there? And just being like, show me where my daughter is, instead of being like, I'm going to kidnap this guy, beat him to a pulp for a few days, and hope that he tells me, when, like, it's probably most logical that they'd be at his house anyway. I don't know. It just, it
It
does
is a
seem
little
like,
weird that the police didn't do more of a thorough search on the house. Like, Jake Gyllenhaal's character checks out the car for a little bit and then goes inside and
just kind of
Yeah,
like,
legally, I don't know
yeah.
I don't know how that kind of stuff works, but you would think.
you would think they would get a search warrant, though, just because this is a
Yeah.
person of
Yeah, it's
suspicion.
the one person that they've got, and
And,
that's where
and,
he was
and while you
living.
have him in, especially because they had him in custody for whatever, the 48 hours, it seems like during that time while you have them in custody and you're like, this is still a person of high interest. We don't have, like, we're still holding them, that you would get
He
a
ran
search
from the
warrant for
police.
their house. Yeah. Yeah. Like, you would think that you would just get a search warrant. It is a little odd. And maybe there's something there that none of us are aware of, that they can't do that. But it seems like normally they don't, or at least in this kind of a situation,
best-
it would seem like you have enough, like, grounds for suspicion to be like, yeah, we need to go search the house just in case, because
It's actually kind of, I think it's kind of irrelevant though. Like they could have gotten a search warrant and searched the house, and there's a good chance they wouldn't have found anything. Like at that point, the girls were probably in the hole in the ground below the car, you know? So like there's a good chance that if they get a search warrant and search the house, they still don't really find anything that implicates that they were taken.
Well,
you
what
know?
sort of don't they have like ground penetrating radar or whatever? And how
Well,
they
no,
find the
you wouldn't do that
mannequins?
for a basic search warrant though, you know?
Well, right.
Well, I don't know. What would
Yeah,
you?
I guess.
I don't
Yeah,
know
but
what you
this
would do.
guy, he could have buried people in the backyard without the aunt knowing. And I think so. I think without even a search warrant, they could ask the aunt, "Hey, do you mind if we search your house and like do an investigation here?" And depending on her answer, you know, you go through with it. If she says
Also,
yes, if she says no, why you say no? We're trying to find two
'Cause
missing
I'm
kids.
American.
That,
This is
for
my
some
house. You
reason,
can't come in here.
Nazi
also, I
Germany.
am a little confused because, like, I know at some point she says, like, "Oh yeah, I had the girls underground or whatever when the police were here." But it didn't seem like he gave them a heads up. So maybe they're just kind of implying that he like called ahead and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna come talk to Alex," because it kind of looks in the movie like he just shows up, and it's like, how would she have gotten them under there? You know,
Well, that
it seems
happens
like they
multiple
would have
times
just.
where Jake Gyllenhaal just like teleports somewhere. Like when after the snake guy's in their house and takes the girl's clothes, she's like talking to her son about like he went here and then or like I walked here and then I walked there, and then like Jake Gyllenhaal just like walks out of a door. You're like, oh, she's talking to him. Like he just kind of
Yeah.
That's why he's got a
places,
perfect
so,
record as a detective. He's just
yeah, still does.
I'm just saying, like, I guess maybe you're just supposed to assume that he called ahead, but it did kind of, in the movie, it kind of felt like he just went there where he was like, you know what, I'm going to go back and talk to him. I'm just going to show up. And then in that case, it would be like, how did she get the girls hidden? And in that case, searching the house might have been productive, but I don't know.
I really wanted him to when like at the very end of the movie. So like towards the beginning, she's like, they say that you've like got a perfect record, like you've solved all your cases. Which, by the way, terrible thing to say to somebody. Like she immediately apologized.
Way to
I was
jinx
like,
it.
What a terrible thing, right? But then like at the end of the film, like literally at the end when he's in the hospital and she's like, do you think you're gonna find him? Would have been great if he was like, well, there still isn't a case I haven't solved yet. It's like I'm gonna find him. Still have a perfect record.
We'll just end on some humor there where he's like,
yeah.
hey, my record's still perfect, so.
No, I think Jake Gyllenhaal's really good in this. I think like with the eye twitch and like man, he's just one of my favorite actors. He's just
get
Something-
off him.
Something I wanted to bring up, and I don't know how relevant this is, but they show a lot of shots where he's got like a Freemason ring on.
yeah.
And
I
then
saw that.
I
Yeah.
wasn't sure, like they didn't ever like really seem to go anywhere with that, so I was like, I don't know, or maybe there is.
I think it's
there's-
just a little detail. I don't think it's
Is that, I don't know
implying
if it was
too much
important or not.
specifically.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, just because it was like, obviously there's a lot of religious stuff in the movie, and Freemasonry like has some religious elements, but it's also kind of a culty type thing, and it's very secretive and like has a lot of, it's not, I don't know if it's really a religion, but it kind of overlaps with that. So I wasn't sure if there was something that I was missing that was like relevant to him with the Freemason ring, or if it was just like we're just throwing this in here as a fun thing.
If I knew more about Freemasonry, maybe I'd have some insight. My knowledge is kind of limited to whatever I learned from National Treasure, so I don't really have a lot to go off of.
Who directed this movie again?
Denis Villeneuve?
What, this? Denis Villeneuve?
Yeah. I feel like if there's a shot of something, it's probably a conscious decision.
Well, and there's a few times. That's the thing too. It's not like it's just once. Like there were a few times where they show you that he's wearing a Freemason ring, and I was like, okay. And so like maybe it is that I don't know enough about Freemasonry. Like maybe there are some things in there that we're missing, but I was like, I kept waiting for that to become more relevant to the plot, and I didn't feel like it ever really kicked in. But I was
And
like,
I just don't know enough about Freemasonry to have any insight. I don't know if Aaron does, but
same thing, National Treasure, and then just Illuminati stuff, which is probably all, mostly not real. So
yeah, and I don't know how
today.
connected those two are anyway, or if people just kind of connect them because they're both secretive things. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I just wanted to bring it up in case neither of you had anything to point out, because there were enough shots of it that...
It's something I wrote down too, but like, yeah, it's not directly connected to anything else in the film. It's not focused on for any reason, but it's obviously there intentionally. Like, you don't put a Freemason ring on a main character and
show
make
it.
Obviously, he's wearing it on accident, right? Like, that's an intentional decision. So I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I can't remember, why was he searching the church/priest's house? I don't remember what
he was looking for people with a sexual predator history.
Oh, okay. I guess I must have missed a line of dialogue or something. Okay. Because I was like...
He's visiting, like, there's a short montage where he's, like, visiting people, like the business guy and somebody in a diner.
Well, I remember seeing those.
So it's right before he's, like, talking to his boss, and they're having an argument, and he's like, well, I got 16 sexual predators I need to go talk to, so if you'll let me go and do my job.
Okay. I guess I forgot that was the dialogue before, so...
So let's talk ratings. Where are you guys at on this one?
Well, how about you go first, since it was your pick? That's what you did to me last time.
Okay, I did do that to you last time. I remember that. It holds up. So this is the third time that I've seen this. It definitely holds up. It's still captivating on a rewatch. Probably not if you watch it like 3 times a year. Like, it's going to get old quickly then. But like, I think this is the third time I've seen it, probably over the course of, like, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years. So like, with that kind of time in between, it really holds up because you don't remember everything. There's little details. It's very well crafted, right? So there's a lot of little details thrown in, like the Freemason ring I'd never noticed before. And I don't know what the implications of that are, but it's interesting to notice and know that it's there for a reason, right? So it's obviously very well crafted. There's some stuff that I don't love, like I said, I don't love the premise for why they're kidnapping kids. It seems a little cheesy. Like, I like the idea that he wanted to lean into this challenging Hugh Jackman's faith and, like, what lengths is he going to go to kind of a thing. But I think it could have done without this, like, kind of weird, like, oh, the kidnappers are waging a war on God kind of a thing. Like, it just didn't seem to fit. And all the cult stuff with the maze, like, I'm okay with that being in there and not totally explained, just kind of hinted at, and you get little pieces of it. But I don't know, just like the God thing felt like kind of a cheesy. It just felt like to be the juxtaposition of Hugh Jackman, like, having a strong faith and being prepared for everything, whatever. So then his faith being tested. I don't know. So just kind of having that juxtaposition, I can see maybe why it was in there, but it seems a little cheesy. But I think it's like it's a solid 8.5. It's probably a little longer than it needs to be. It looks really good, despite the fact that the whole movie's pretty drab. It's obviously intentionally and artistically drab. There is one shot in particular that I really love, which is Alex when he's in the shower and all he has is that, like, one shaft of light on his face. Like that is a really, really good shot. Like very chilling in a way, kind of just to like see what he's going through, kind of. And it's yeah, very well done. But yeah, I think probably an 8.5. It's very solid, and I see myself maybe watching it again a few years down the road.
I think I would give it. I feel like I would give it an 8. Um, I liked it, and I thought it was very interesting. Like it definitely had my attention the whole time. Obviously the acting is phenomenal. Um, like you brought up, Nate, I felt like the kidnapper's reasons were kind of weirdly vague and weak, and also felt like if you're going to make that your reasoning, then it like you need to do more with it and make it a bigger part of the plot. If you're going to say somebody's waging a war against God and that's why they're kidnapping kids, like I feel like you need a little bit more like tie into other things happening instead of it just being, oh, and they kidnapped the kids of like religious people or something, and then we only focus on the person whose kid was kidnapped and we don't really look at the other stuff. um and then yeah, I wish there had been more with the maze stuff, or that it had been minimized. One of the two. Either like I feel like it needed either more of it to make it more a part, like an actual part of the plot with the maze stuff and a little bit more integral, or that it should have just been like, hey, and at that point it doesn't even have to be a maze. It could literally be anything. Just be like, you could still keep it with like there was something on the pendant and that's something that gets referenced by someone else, and or he notices it again from the pictures or something, like he sees the picture in his office, then he goes back to the house and he sees the picture on the dresser or whatever. Like I feel like it didn't need to be the maze because they didn't really do a whole lot with it, and maybe there's supposed to be more subtext that's about things that are maze like in a metaphorical sense, but I didn't feel like any of
Yeah,
that was
maybe.
super obvious either. And so I felt like there should have been, if you wanted to be metaphorical, I think it needed to be a little bit more feeling
Well,
like there was something that was maze like to it. I mean,
think about
I feel
Enemy
like a
though,
maze.
and how like indirect and vague everything in that film is, and that's part of what makes it brilliant.
But also, it's more consistently shown throughout the movie. Like, we're getting spider imagery from the very, like, beginning of the movie, and we see it consistently. So, yes, it is not very blatant, but you pick up on it immediately, and you're like, okay, this is representative of something, and then you're thinking about it as you're watching the movie, being like, what is the spider representing? Here, you don't get any maze stuff, really, until, like, halfway through the movie, and then it's kind of just used. I don't know. I think the spider imagery in Enemy was done better than the maze imagery in this, I guess. So I wish that it had been a little bit more used, or that they had just left it out entirely and used some other picture on the necklace or whatever and just, you know, done it that way. But those complaints aside, I do think it has rewatchability. Um, I do want to watch it again, like you were talking about. You notice details this time that you hadn't seen before. With it being a Denis Villeneuve movie, I'm sure that on a rewatch, I'm gonna find more things, and maybe there will be some more connections that I make, or like. So I think there's some interesting, probably other subtle stuff that I didn't pick up on this time. So I give it a solid 8. It's definitely something I think I would recommend to people and be like, you should watch this. It's an interesting film.
6.7.
6.7.
No,
Six
I'm
point
kidding.
seven.
Oh, that.
No.
Aaron's like,
um,
actually, a 4.
yeah. Just to be subversive. So I really like movies that don't hold your hand and that require, more than one watching to really glean the most enjoyment out of it. Like I like movies that, yeah, are better the second time watching it. Um, I think there's like a fine, like you have to walk a fine line when you're doing that because it has to be still good enough the first
Has to be
viewing.
engaging the first time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But when it's, you know, even better the second time, that's peak. The setting, like this isn't my most favorite, sort of kind of story. Maybe a little too grounded. Uh, so I was invested and it was interesting, but it wasn't, my cup of tea as far as that goes. I don't remember the score at all, so I assume it must have been
It was not really anything.
generic. Yeah. Um,
There wasn't a lot of it. It was not a lot
No,
of
no,
music
it's
in the
not
movie.
focal. Yeah.
there was a score though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like in No Country for Old Men, there's nothing. So, and I think that was really cool that they did that. So yeah, if I don't remember anything about that in this movie, then it was probably just generic. Uh, yeah, the acting was really good. It was shot really well. Uh, I do think that on a second viewing, I would probably get more information on stuff like the mazes and stuff like that. So I don't want to like dog on it, But if there is nothing more to it, then yeah, I'm also a little disappointed with how they handled it. But I'm going to assume that there's going to be more to it. I watched the first hour right before we all got on because I thought you meant like 3 to 4 hour time. So I thought I had enough time to watch it again. But in the second viewing, I was already getting way more information. I'd probably give it 8.3. I think I'll probably give it a higher score on the second viewing, just because I'm gonna make all those juicy connections that I was too engrossed in the story to make the first time.
Is this a film that after you finish it the first time though, you're like, "Oh, I really want to watch this a second time?" Or are you like, "That was really good and it would be good a second time, but I don't feel like I need to watch it a second time?"
Me personally, yeah, I don't feel like that for most things. I guess there's probably some things out there that I'm like, yeah, I need to. But because of its setting and the story, eh, you know.
Yeah.
But
It's
I
not
do know that if I
captivating, right?
watch it a second time, I'm going to enjoy it more the second time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I feel I get that more with like Nolan movies where I finish them and I'm like, honestly, I could rewatch it right now. And there's a little bit I think there's a little bit more of that desire of like, yeah, I want to watch it again because I know there's going to be so many more things I pick up on and I don't know. I feel like I get that a lot with Nolan films. This one finishing it, I was like, yeah, I would enjoy watching this a second time, but I didn't feel any kind of need to be like I need to watch it again right now because I feel like I am missing important pieces of information or that it's really going to like blow something wide open as far as like my understanding of the movie or anything like that. I think it's more like I'll probably enjoy it more on a second watch if it's longer between and I haven't had because I think some of the things about it that make it good also aren't probably as good on like really close rewatches. Like there's probably more of the like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, I forgot that this is in the movie or like how dark this is or something like that. I think maybe some of that is going to be better if it's like, oh, I haven't seen this in a couple of years. And I
Yeah.
know it was
Yeah.
good, but I want to rewatch it, show it to somebody else, maybe something like that. And then probably
My
being able to
attention,
enjoy some of that for like, not like it's the first time, but kind of in a similar, like, oh yeah, I forgot how much I liked this. And I don't know if it would have that on an immediate rewatch.
for me, I would have to watch it within like a couple days because otherwise I'm not gonna. The whole goal is to connect dots that I would still need fresh in my mind, you know,
Hmm.
to do that. I think Nolan's films are way easier to do that with because of the settings and the story that's going on. They're just so,
Right.
adventuristic and yeah, sci-fi and cool and all that kind of stuff. But with this, it's
Like
much more grounded.
to your point of like a film needs to like make you want to watch it again. It needs to be interesting enough the first time around, but not but still make you feel like you're missing out on some things to make you want to go back and watch it a second time. A not great example of that is actually Tenet, because Tenet is like you don't know what happened at all at the end of the movie. It's
Yeah.
almost but I watched it like 5 or 6 times because like the setting is just so
It's very
immersive and it's just
compelling.
like the world is so cool that the experience of watching the film is so engrossing and captivating that you're like I've watched it 5 or 6 times. I couldn't explain the movie to you right now probably, but
Oh,
like
right.
like
I
it's
think you
so
do
much fun
connect
to go
enough
back and
dots, though.
rewatch.
You connect a dot or two, and then there's something addicting about that. Like, and I love movies that are almost in a way like they're a puzzle and it's like an interactive experience.
Well, and that's how
But
Tenet feels. Tenet feels like putting together a puzzle. Every time you watch it, you're like, oh, I've connected another couple of pieces. And I think that's what makes it compelling for multiple rewatches. This movie, like I said, I think it'll be good on a rewatch, but I don't feel like I'm missing puzzle pieces where I'm like, I need to see it again to figure out, like, were there things that I missed the first time? There probably were. Because, like you said, Villeneuve does make things very intentionally. Like, if things are getting screen time, they're there on purpose. But also, none of them felt like enough of a puzzle where I think I need it to fully grasp what the movie is saying or something.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think Nolan's movies are more like that, where you're like, you do feel like you're putting a puzzle together. And so there's kind of that immediate, like, okay, I connected a couple of things. I'm really intrigued. The plot was, or maybe not the plot, but like the world was immersive or whatever. I need to go back right away while this is all still fresh in my mind. This one, I feel like it's simple enough that if it takes me, if I don't see it for a couple of years, I think I'm going to remember enough about it that I'm going to, especially once you start watching it, a lot of times things kind of click back into place where you're like, oh yeah, I remember this happens, this happens, this happens. So then you don't feel like you need those immediate rewatches to keep track of all the information like you do sometimes with Nolan films.
I think the biggest thing is the 2.5-hour runtime.
Yeah, for a movie that's not cool, right? Like Nolan's
Exactly,
films are
yeah.
cool, right? And a lot of Denny's films are also cool, but this is not one of them. This film is dark and slow and heavy and moody, right? And that's a long 2.5 hours. So, especially if you know what's going to happen, take some of the tense scenes out of it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Again, probably another one that's really good watching with somebody else who hasn't seen it before, though.
Sure. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be on a list of that, but it wouldn't be in my top
No,
10
that's
or
not
something
what
like
I'm
that.
saying.
Yeah. Still, yeah, good movie.
Yeah.
So,
very solid.
So what's the next Denis Villeneuve, Jake Gyllenhaal film that we're doing?
How many more are there?
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any.
Is he going to be in the next, is Jake Gyllenhaal going to be in the next Dune movie? I don't think so.
I think he's reprising his role from Spider-Man. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
I still haven't
Great.
seen that.
Yeah, it's not good.
That, not one of Jake Gyllenhaal's more excellent roles.
Yeah.
I think that one was for the Marvel
No
paycheck.
fault. Yeah, no fault to him. I'm sure.
No, it is. It is a fault of his.
Is it?
Like, what is
Oh,
he doing?
really?
What is he doing? No. I mean, I don't.
Oh,
remember.
okay,
I think
like,
I saw the
yeah.
movie. I don't remember. But it's like, what are you doing taking roles like that? Like,
Yeah, it's like you're better
for the
than
Getting a
most part,
big,
he
fat
takes
fucking
interesting,
check.
respectable.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
I mean,
know.
like,
It
yeah,
just
like that's
feels
what I'm
like
saying. I'm sure it's the paycheck because I'm like,
It's a sellout thing, kind of.
like normally, like you said, normally he plays such interesting characters,
Well,
and
Prince
well,
of
okay,
Persia.
How much?
he was a lot
Oh, was
younger
he
in
in
that though. He was a lot younger in that though. That's a pretty old film, right?
More
yeah, but
hungry.
he'd already been in stuff like Donnie Darko, and like he had already
I
been
guess that's
doing
true.
interesting roles.
Yeah,
I
that's a
don't
good
know.
point.
Maybe
He started
So
off
he's-
like, wow.
he's always been a little edgy and alternative in his
Yeah.
roles. But yeah, so I guess maybe Prince of Persia was also just kind of a paycheck one. Although, like, again, he was younger, so maybe with a less established career, it was kind of like, well, I can't afford to really say no to a bunch of stuff either.
Yeah.
But definitely by the time
That's a
you
big
get
break
to
kind
Spider-Man,
of a thing, right?
yeah, but by the time you get to Spider-Man, it's like you're an established enough actor and you've been in
You've already
enough
made
other
it, yeah.
projects. You could say no, and you're not. Nobody's going to be like, oh, well, we don't want to work with you again. So
Yeah, or you missed your chance, kind of a thing. It's
Yeah.
like, no, I've already.
You're already
made
a
it. I didn't
household
miss my
name.
chance. Yeah.
yeah, everyone
Well,
knows
maybe
who
you
you
do
are.
it. You make a bunch of money, and then you can do whatever you want after that because you
But he was
you've,
already
filled the
mostly
tank.
doing what he wanted.
Listen, Karina, rich people have expensive bills. Like, let's.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean,
I guess that's true. Maybe he lost a bunch of money gambling or something, and he was like, you know what, this could
Yeah.
come at a better time.
Well, that happened. That happened to someone. Yeah. Who made a fantastic movie? I just want to say it's not a podcast film, but The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. If you haven't seen it, go watch it right
That was-
now because it's
yeah.
incredible.
That
I
was
own it
that
on
was a
DVD.
fun movie. You own that one?
Such a good movie.
Nice.
Such a good movie.
Honestly, I need to rewatch that one. I haven't seen it since we saw it in theaters.
And Pedro Pascal is so freaking good in it too. Oh my goodness.
It's really
I know.
funny.
I wish he would do more stuff like that and not like the
Pig.
some of the other.
Did you see Pig, Aaron?
No,
Oh man, it's
add
so
to the
it's
list.
Didn't
Is
they
it a
film that one
podcast
in
movie or
Portland?
no, it's not a podcast movie.
what do you mean?
It's done very tastefully, but it's just not like there's not enough to talk about. Like literally, the whole premise is Nicolas Cage
his
lives in the
pig goes
woods
missing.
outside of Portland, and he has a pig that like finds mushrooms, and then he like sells those mushrooms to like upscale restaurants in Portland, and somebody steals his pig, and he's trying to find his pig. Like that's the
In
whole
like
premise for
a
the film.
Liam Neeson Taken sort of way,
Kind of,
or
yeah.
what
It
the
feels
fuck?
a little, yeah. But he's looking for a pig. And he's
Yeah.
like got this like grungy outdoorsy
I will find
look.
you and I will kill. Like, okay,
Yeah, and it's like this
I
whole
gotta
like
check it out.
underground of Portland kind of a thing. It's
so that's the setting is Portland, Oregon.
yeah. He lives outside Portland.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
he lives in the woods. Yeah,
That sounds
Yeah.
like a really stupid, fun movie.
yeah.
I'll check it out.
It's not bad. I would watch it again. It's not bad, but it is.
I mean, I feel like that's how a lot of Nicolas Cage movies are. You're like, there's
Yeah.
not a lot to talk about afterwards, but there's a lot of it that you're like, nah, it was fun. You know, it was
Well, have you
weird.
guys seen The Wicker Man? Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
No, I need to see it.
Yeah,
That's an
it's
old
bad.
one, right?
but also, so they made one in like the 70s, and then the one
Oh,
that
maybe
he's
it's-
in is a remake.
But wasn't it pretty? I thought it well, not early in his career, but like it's
I think it's early 2000s.
What, like- 20 plus years old at this point, right?
Yeah, well, I don't like to think about that, but yeah, it's early 2000s. That's a much cooler way to say it.
Super old.
I know. What are you talking about? The 80s were still 20 years ago. That's what my brain goes.
Mhm.
Oh,
I'm
30
starting
years
to get to
ago
the point where it's like 30 years. Yeah, it was 30 years ago. Not
the 80s were 30 years ago. The 80s were 40 plus.
okay. Thank you, Nostradamus. No, what I was saying was, I'm now to the point where
Well, I
they're no
wasn't sure
longer
what you were
20
saying.
years ago. They're no longer 20 years ago into my brain. Now they're 30 years ago.
Oh, okay,
and in
okay.
10 years,
Yeah.
it'll be
Okay,
40.
okay.
To
Yeah.
make
I
this
didn't
worse,
understand
the
what you were
80s
saying.
have always been like a time removed. That's like might as well be World War II. Like I didn't live through it. It's this like idealized time that I never experienced. So it might as well be the 1880s.
Are you
know?
saying that the World War II was idealized?
No, but it has
Some
like a
people.
very distinct like not idealized, but
It was
like
an
a very
era.
Yeah, it was an era.
It
Unto
was a
itself, right?
zeitgeist.
And so were the
to me.
80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's also why they've kind of been like overused as a setting for so many things in the last decade. You know, Stranger Things and every like it just feels like there's so many things that want to be like, oh, we're making it set in the 80s or somebody's time traveling back to the 80s and like there's so much
Is that
nostalgia
not
for them.
is that not also because people that grew up in the 80s are now like at the age where they have kids and all this kind of stuff?
Well,
And are making
yeah.
movies.
So
It kind of makes
I'm not-
sense.
No,
They're
no,
making
I'm not
movies.
saying that it's complete. I'm not saying it's completely illogical, and I don't know, but it doesn't feel like there's the same.
So
Like,
It's
can
gimmicky
you
in a
find
way.
as
It's
many?
gimmicky.
Can you find as many things that were gimmicky about like the 70s or the 60s? You know, where people are
I
being like,
think
"Oh, we're gonna
you
set everything in the
definitely could.
70s." I don't know. I'm just
not
trying to
the
think.
70s
Maybe
as
there
much, but
are,
the 60s.
but
I think it just depends on how distinctive the era was or the decade. The 60s
But I feel like the 70s
definitely
and the
distinctive.
60s
Same
both
thing with
were.
the 50s.
so were the 70s. There were a lot of things that were.
I
Really
think the
distinctive
70s and
about the
60s were a
70s.
bit more of a blur, but
Yeah, I'd agree
Uh,
with that. Like the hippie movement was through both. Like, yeah. But then you have rock and
Yeah. I
roll.
guess.
Like rock and roll like started in the late 50s. You know, like true.
Sure,
Like what we think of as
but
rock and roll.
my point being that I feel like the 80s have been used as more of a gimmick than like the 60s, the 70s, the 50s were.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah,
that's what I
probably.
meant.
but I
Like,
think they
and
all
I'm-
get the treatment. But the 80s
To
was just
some
so
extent.
freaking cool.
It was iconic.
Neon
It was
colors
iconic.
and yeah. And there's movies that are made in like about the 90s. I'm wondering when we're gonna start seeing the 2000s. Like
Because there's already
what
a
that's
lot of
gonna be like.
nostalgia for like Y2K stuff. Like
yeah,
that a lot of that stuff has made a comeback in fashion and you know.
But yeah, we
so,
haven't seen a
like-
lot of films yet that are intentionally set in like the 2000s yet. Like,
Yeah.
It's not nostalgic.
There,
enough.
as far as
unless they were
like,
modern pieces at that time. Like
That's
this
different.
is
Yeah.
present
right,
day.
right.
Yeah.
yeah, like I know there was. I don't know that many people watched it. I think it was trash, but there was a movie in the last year or so that was set in like as a Y2K film, something to do with I don't know, like everybody thought the world was going to end
So
when the
literally Y2K.
calendar, yeah, literal Y2K, like
Yeah.
it's there's some like teen kind of a horror movie thing. I don't know. It didn't have anybody. I think it starred like Rachel Zegler or something, and it was not. I don't think it was a very good movie. But like, that's the only one I can think of in recent years that had an actual like we're going for like an early 2000s, late 90s setting. But I wouldn't be
still too
surprised
recent,
if we start
yeah.
to see more in the next
Yeah.
couple of years.
But we're
Because
starting to
there's
get there,
definitely
though.
nostalgia for it.
We're starting to get there.
Well, because you think about it
30
now,
years ago.
yeah, like all of the elder millennials are
Yeah.
the ones that are going to be like, oh, those were my teenage years. I'm really
Yeah.
nostalgic for that now
Yeah,
that
let's
I'm
greenlight
middle aged
that
and have
project.
teenage kids of my own or whatever.
Yeah. Gross. It's my turn, right?
It is.
I don't remember,
My
but
turn?
sure.
It is my turn, yeah. I asked like I didn't know. I knew. Um, I'm at like a coin toss between Hereditary and Horse Girl.
And what?
Horse girl.
Horse Girl?
Yeah. Have you guys seen it?
No, I
No,
don't.
no. I
think
just
said it was
remember
sci-fi,
you
that's all I
mentioned
know
it,
about
though.
Yeah.
You mentioned it. I just
Sci-fi,
had forgotten.
psychological. Yeah, I think it'll be perfect material for this podcast. And then Hereditary is just so fucking good that yeah. I feel like I should have went this go around and we should have watched Hereditary just because it's a horror movie and Halloween. But, whatever.
We probably also
Maybe-
were trying to record like a month ago already.
Yeah.
so-
We should record next week. Just to stick in the whole like once a month schedule. I don't know. I was being facetious, but
Well, it's mostly Nate that seems to be the person we have to work around.
super busy.
It's rude.
Somebody that I work with said that I'm only going to be working like 11 days, or like the school is only going to be open for 11 days of November, just because of different holidays and then Thanksgiving and all that kind of stuff. So I should have a lot more free time. I'm also going to get a second job at Dollar General, but that's like 4 hours a piece. So
No, we'll definitely get another recording in within probably the next couple weeks, I can imagine. So just do your coin toss and let us know what it's going to be, Aaron.
I missed it. Did you guys already talk about what you've been watching recently? Anything interesting to
I don't think we did.
Share?
No.
I don't think I've been watching
Nate
anything
dropped
actually.
the ball.
reading anything interesting? Or have you just
I
been
just started The
working?
Brothers Karamazov as a bit of a tone change from sci-fi, but yeah,
Okay.
I'm only like 100
Interesting.
pages in, so I don't have anything to say yet.
I'm still in my sci-fi era. I'm talking to a lady from not Puerto Rico, Peru, and she recommended Hail the Sun or whatever it's called. I know you mentioned it and how much you don't like it. It's by the same guy who wrote The Martian.
Oh, Project Hail
We have
Mary.
this on recording. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Hail
don't
Mary.
read it. Don't read it.
Well, I'm gonna listen to it for one. Nobody reads.
I think I got 20 to 30 pages in before I put it down. I couldn't deal with his writing, like the way that he, like the main character, like how how Matt Damon acts in The Martian, like the dialogue, the jokes, all that kind of stuff. It's like that, but it's dialed up even more, and it's just so cringy. I can't.
So
I
did
can't
you not like
stand
The
it.
Martian?
No, The Martian's great, but like that sense of humor Matt Damon has in it, he pulls off pretty well. But the same sense of humor is in Project Hail Mary, and it's dialed up even more, and it just is really cringy and impossible to read. Like it's like
No human talks like that kind of
it's
thing.
like it's like it's written for middle schoolers, is what it feels like. That's what the
Damn.
humor is. Yeah, and I just can't stand it, especially when I'm reading stuff like Aurora and Three Body Problem and like really cool, very well written stuff. To go read that, I feel like I'm a middle schooler, and I just couldn't do it. So yeah, I wanted to like it. I wanted to like it.
you didn't
And it
like
might
The
have
Hitchhiker's Guide
it
to the
might
Galaxy. So I mean, like, I
That's
can't
what I was gonna
take you at
say.
your
You
word
that
anymore.
I think that was part of this conversation last time. Was you were saying you couldn't stand the writing style on
it was connected
Hitchhiker.
to yeah. But I read most of that before I got tired of it. But I don't know. Like Project Hail Mary might have a great plot because The Martian had a good plot, and Project Hail Mary is also apparently really good.
On
But
page
it's just the
31,
writing
it
style I
like
couldn't.
completely changes, becomes really well written. You just didn't get that far enough.
Yeah, I don't know. If you read it, let me know, or if you listen to it, let me know. So
Yeah, it's gonna be the next one on my list.
cool.
Yeah, I don't think I've really been watching anything.
I watched what's it called? Spy Games or Spy Game
Spy
the
Kids?
other day. No, Spy
Spy
Games.
Kids.
It's
Yeah, I've
Spy
seen
it's
Kids
that.
Brad
3D?
Pitt and Robert Redford.
I don't remember them in it.
Yeah, I mean, neither.
Yeah, it was a good movie. I mean, just about like I don't know whatever they are, like CIA espionage kind of stuff. He's
Man, talk about settings that don't intrigue me. Oof.
Spy
I just
movies?
don't like the Bourne films are good, but like that genre gets really old really quickly for me.
Yeah, I never really. Get Smart. That was a good one.
I liked this one.
That was a
I
comedy
guess.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is like it's like a Robert Redford is like he's like a CIA agent who is on his last day before retirement, and he starts his day with like getting a phone call from one of his contacts in Hong Kong that his like former protege is in a Chinese
AWOL.
prison and is like going to be or like he just lets him know, and then he gets to work, and then like his superiors call him in to be like, hey, what information do you have about this guy? And he finds out that he's like they have 24 hours to claim him, and then the Chinese government's going to execute him, and the government doesn't want to claim him because they're in the middle of like trade negotiations with China, and he was caught doing espionage, and so like he's there, but and you know they and like the guys that are his higher ups kind of have their own agenda, and they're not fully sharing information with him, and then he's trying to like go behind their backs and do what he can to help this guy out and get him out of there because the government's not going to do it. And so he's working against kind of his own people. And then you also get some flashbacks to like some of the jobs they did together and like why he was in China in the first place, because he was just there kind of like as a rogue,
He liked the
like
food.
doing his own thing. And so you get
Some sushi.
So anyway, I thought it was an interesting movie. Like it was well done. I mean, like it's Brad Pitt and Robert
believe
Redford.
you.
They're both great actors. So like it was, it was an entertaining film to watch.
It's
And
better than the synopsis because like between the like marketing material and the synopsis and the year that it was made, I feel like is probably a very 2000s movie.
Bold decision
worst
watching it in
way.
the first place.
Yeah, that was 24 years ago. What?
Point Break.
it
Find
was-
it at
That's one in
Goodwill?
that genre. Point Break is one in that genre that I dig. That's a good movie. Have you guys seen the original Point Break?
yeah,
No.
I've seen it once.
It's actually very, very. I mean, it's what's his face? He's not a good actor.
Keanu Reeves. Oh,
Keanu Reeves. He's a terrible actor, but
yeah.
it's Gary Busey though. Tell you what, he's good. But anyways, it's a good
Buttered
movie.
sausage.
And Patrick Swayze too. So
Oh yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, he's in that one. Yeah, that one's another that's very much a product of its time.
yeah, but it's It's 90s and it's nostalgic for sure. Very
Okay,
nostalgic.
another movie I watched that it was a first time watch, and I was like, you know what? I know this is like a famous version of this, and I've never seen it, so I
Oh, I know
watched
what
it
you're
with
gonna
pretty
say.
low. Okay, what?
The remake of not Fight Club, but whatever that other one is with Patrick Swayze and Jake Gyllenhaal.
No,
Oh, Brokeback Mountain? Wait, no.
that's
No.
different dead actor.
we should watch that.
What is it? The one? What's the original one from the 80s with Patrick Swayze where he's like fighting people in like bars and stuff?
Oh,
What's that called?
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. There was a
Roadhouse?
remake of Roadhouse a couple years ago.
No,
Yeah, with
no.
Conor McGregor.
Conor
You're not
McGregor
even-
and Jake Gyllenhaal, yeah.
Nice
So it
guess.
must be
You
really
were
good.
so close.
What is
I
Jake Gyllenhaal on? Why would he do that?
I kind of want to watch
That's so
that. though,
fucking
not gonna
funny. I need to watch
lie.
too. Yeah.
No, what I
Anyways, what are you
watched.
watching?
Well, I already watched it. What I watched was the Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's from the 90s,
Talking about the new
early
oh, okay.
90s. It actually has a I mean, Keanu Reeves is not a great actor, but he's well known. And Winona Ryder and Anthony Hopkins and Carrie
Love
Elways and Gary Oldman.
Wait, is this the one that has Joel Heyman where Winona Ryder
Is
and
he in
somebody
it?
are arguing in front of him?
I
I
don't
remember
know.
him telling some story about Winona Ryder and somebody like having an argument scene, and he was really uncomfortable. I can't remember.
I don't know. I'd have
that's
to go.
That's an anecdote. Sorry.
I don't know. I'd have to do some research. Maybe I don't think he was in this, but maybe he was. Anyway, it was not what I was expecting. I was like, this is an interesting take on Dracula. It was,
Okay.
yeah. So
Do you
I'm
guys want
just
to see
saying, like,
Nosferatu, or did you see Nosferatu?
I've heard good things.
I've
think.
heard a lot of good things, but I haven't seen it. I know that a lot of what I've heard is that it's pretty, like, I don't know. I guess the prosthetics and some of the graphics and stuff are pretty gnarly, but that it's well
Intentionally,
done.
though, or
Yeah, like just that it's really gross. Like
oh, okay.
that it's just like disgusting. You know, like
I feel like after watching The Substance, I can handle it. I'm not worried about it.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it was like something about like the prosthetic penis they gave Nosferatu is pretty gross or something, and like some of that, and I was like, all right, well, I guess that kind of checks out though. He's supposed to be several hundred years undead, so I suppose
That'll do things to your penis
yeah.
for sure.
yeah. It
That's
was
thanks to
okay. So
mine.
one of the weird things about like the 90s, like the Bram Stoker's Dracula I was watching was like, so Gary Oldman is Dracula in that, and they are like, he has like so many different looks throughout the movie. Like sometimes they have him being like kind of looking like himself, but like with he has like really long hair, and like that's basically it. Other times he's in like this weird getup where he's got like this space alien looking hairdo with a ponytail that like
Looks
goes
like
down to
balls.
his feet. Yeah, it's like super bizarre looking. And then other times they have him like a creepy bat thing. Like he has like probably 6 or 7 like very distinct like forms, and then he just goes like back and forth between them, and I was like, I don't understand how they're deciding which version of him to use for some of these scenes. Like I was like, okay, it's a little strange.
Maybe it's like what's that anime? That's totally, the whole thing is like is tongue in cheek. I can't remember what it's called now. There's some anime that like Japan made it, and then they didn't have the money to publish it or something. They didn't have the backing, so they sold it to some studio in the US. And so the US did all of the audio for it. And they would just come in, and they said whoever came into the like recording studio each day got to set the pace for whatever was going to happen. And so apparently there's like I've seen clips from it, but there's like wild stuff happening that like they just took the film that was there and they just voice overed it basically and then produced it. I can't remember what it's called.
What
You
is
need to
this
find the name of
called?
it and then send it.
I'll send
I
it
will
to you. I'll
definitely
figure it
watch
out and send it to you guys.
Yeah. I need to watch this. That sounds really funny. Like not like a bad lip reading, but kind of just being like, we're just going to make the plot of this whatever we want it to be.
Yeah. But that's what they said. They were like, whoever came in first, like to record that day, got to set the whole tone, the whole pace for what it was going to be like. And it was like half of it is like ad-libbed, and yeah. So
did it have like a pretty decent voice cast on it, or was it like
I don't
Probably
think
not.
so. I think it was
Probably
super
not.
low. Yeah.
Well, I was just wondering like if there was anybody they got on it.
Ghost
that was, like,
Stories. It's called Ghost Stories. I just randomly
Oh.
remembered that.
Okay.
That sounds kind of vaguely familiar, but that's a pretty generic name, so maybe that's why.
I will say the
But I
other
feel like
thing
I've heard
about
about this.
I have not heard about this. This is news to me, but I want to watch it now. I'm writing it down so that I can find it. Do you know what it's on? Is it easy to find, or is it like you gotta
No
dig
idea. It's
for
probably
it?
on Crunchyroll or something. I don't know.
DK. Not some sort of streaming service.
Wow, I've never heard of that.
Me neither. Oh, On Demand Korea. That's what that stands for. Google also says that Pluto has it. Uh, oh yeah,
You're right
Crunchyroll
about it being
with
on
a subscription.
Crunchyroll,
Yeah.
Tubi, Amazon Prime,
It's got a
Roku.
4.9 on Crunchyroll. 8 point
It's got an
or
8
8
on
out of 10.
IMDb.
Yeah, that's wild. So they must have been cooking.
The ad lib was good, I guess.
Or maybe it's just so bad that, like, I wonder what the rating is for The Room.
On IMDb.
That's your litmus test.
Yeah, for like bad
That's
movies
your
that are so bad that
your
they're
Turing
good.
test.
Yeah.
Although IMDb, I feel like is not a reliable. Like I don't understand their rating because like there are so many things on IMDb that have a 7 that I'm like, how in the world did this get a 7? Like that feels too high of a rating for some of the stuff on there. So I don't know who's calling the shots over there, or if they've got maybe it's an arbitrary rating system and each person just gets to be like, you know what, this is how I'm calling it. They don't have to be consistent with everyone else. Oh, it's a series, not a movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was saying it's a movie. Sorry. What does the room
War
have,
of the
Aaron?
Worlds has 4%. Oh, so The Room has 24%
What's the
on
IMDb
Rotten
score?
Tomatoes. 3.6. But 77% of people like this movie for Google users. So I think that's a case of it's so bad that it's good, though. So
Well, and the fact that it was a passion project too, and like the whole history behind it. But
yeah, have you guys seen that movie?
yeah,
The Room?
I need to watch it. No,
you're talking about
The Disaster Artist.
the Disaster Artist. Yeah, I've seen that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that's good. Is that good?
It's not bad, especially if you know. You don't have to watch The Room necessarily, but if you at least know the history behind The Room and Tommy Wiseau and all that, then watching The Disaster Artist is pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I would bet. Yeah, I need to watch both
All right.
of them.
I'm gonna dip.
Okay.
I'm a chip.
It's been good.
know
Aaron,
what
looking
that
forward to
means.
hearing whether I'm watching a sci-fi movie with horse people again, or if we're watching a horror movie.
Whoops, I'm still recording. Haha, Nate, you suck.
Not enough to get social benefits of any kind.